this. Fresh off the Palm Beach County, that's where I'm from. When niggas get gunned down and left slung from thumbs up a fucking round. This ain't accounting for you bitches to come around.
What up? What up? And welcome to another episode of the unofficial podcast of the National Football League, the world famous and critically acclaimed 5-6 Kings podcast. I'm David Breen, and as a special treat this week, guys, we're doing an M. Night Shyamalan alien movie, so I thought let's have an alien on,
Greetings.
I was like, why have Braden do this episode? He's done plenty. Let's have a fucking alien.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how you doing?
I'm good, man. Just flew in from Sector 9. Just thought, I like the movie Signs. M. Night Shyamalan, good director.
Get the fuck out of here. Braden says Shyamalan.
What? No.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dude. Yeah, I just thought Braden wasn't cutting it either, so I was like, I'll just fly in and make an appearance.
Well, aliens, since you're here, like, I would never say this to Braden's face.
No, yeah.
It's Braden, like, I want to put him down as much as possible so he feels small and insecure. But Braden's great. I don't think he's coming up short at all, Alien, all right? Like, Braden, he's top-notch co-host.
Mm-hmm.
Love. There's no one else I'd rather do this with. I would never say that to him because I want him to feel small.
Yeah, yeah.
But, like, top-notch.
And that's good. For
Top
the whole
notch.
psychology thing, that's what we try to do to you humans, so, like, good tactic.
Yeah, break him down and make him feel like he's got no other options.
Yeah.
All right? Well, stay with me for 5 years.
Hey, you're smart.
You know what I'm saying?
You're a smart little cookie.
Yeah.
So, David, I know you guys go through this process where you start to do, like, awards and shit.
Now, we always start with money, Alien, so already you're fucking it up because you're a dumb piece of shit alien. But before all that, I want to talk Dolphins, guys.
What?
I want to talk Miami Dolphins football. They're 6-3. They got Bradley Chubb. They got Jeff Wilson at the trade deadline. And I want to tell anyone who's like, oh, Tua's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. Oh, there's Alabama quarterbacks can't play in the NFL. Oh, lefties can't play in the NFL. Oh, brown-skinned people can't play in the NFL. Look at him right now. Look at him. In games that Tua fucking finishes, that he starts and finishes, 6-0. This team would be undefeated if Tua was playing the whole year. He's leading. He can't throw downfield, everyone says. He can't throw downfield. Mr. Alien, he leads the NFL. Your eyes are fogging up, Mr. Alien. He leads the NFL.
Just the extra layer of skin for when I close my eyes.
Ah, it's understandable.
Yeah.
That's Alien's got it.
Mm-hmm.
He leads.
When you look at screens.
He leads the NFL. I don't care, Alien. He leads the NFL and passes 20 yards downfield. Completion percentage, 10 yards downfield, yards per attempt, completion percentage, quarterback rating, total QBR. Tua Tagovailoa is a fucking winner. Tyreek Hill is a fucking winner. Jalen Waddle is a fucking winner.
They sound like they got good genetics.
They do. Every single one of them.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because you're an alien. Alien. Okay. The alien's saying that. Alien's like good genetics. Okay. Good genetics. Because aliens care about genetics. Guys, Miami Dolphins are going to the playoffs. I'm going to call it right now. Going to the playoffs. The Bills lost to the Jets today. Dolphins got to win over the Bills. Bills are beatable. Dolphins might win this fucking division. Jets are going to lose more games. Jets are 6-3 right now. Jets are going to end the season like 9-8, 10-7. They're going to fall off the cliff. Don't got to worry about the Jets. Dolphins are going to make a fucking run, people. Miami Dolphins number 1.
You see the tongue?
I saw the tongue. It was very sexy, Mr. Alien.
Sure. That's how we say hi.
All right, we can talk money, Mr. Alien?
Oh, dude. If there's one thing aliens like doing, it's talking fucking money. Now, where's this fucking money? Where's the fucking money at?
You're not even on the screen, Mr. Alien.
Oh, I got it.
I'm thinking you can't see out of those eyes too good, Mr. Alien, and we might have to do something about your eyes.
I got it. What do you think it is?
Because you brought up, Mr. Alien, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to see, and it's already becoming an issue.
It's just something with the screens in my eyes. So what do you think the budget is, Mr. Human?
I think the budget's going to annoy me. I think it shouldn't be high. It should not. This was not like a cool, well-shot thing. Every time the aliens were on the screen, like the camera like fucking goes to the ground. but I feel like the budget's gonna be like just a uncomfortable amount. I'm gonna guess like 60 million.
Close, a little bit higher.
Fuck you.
I know, right?
75 million.
72 fucking
What'd they
million.
spend the money on?
Dude, that's
Is that just what it costs to get fucking Mel Gibson to do a movie?
That's what I'm thinking, because like the CGI was shit.
Yeah.
There wasn't that many crazy sets or anything. You know, it's like
No.
only so many locations.
I can't imagine shooting the movie cost that much money.
But how much do you think they made worldwide?
The fuck you amount.
That's right.
Like 200 million.
More.
500 million.
A little bit less.
450.
408 million.
Yeah, that's of course they did.
That's a lot in human money, right?
That is a lot in human money. You got that right, Mr. Alien.
Yeah. So that was good for them, right?
I mean, you tell me, are they happy with that number?
I think.
Oh, they are. They are. They fucking 408. They made 5, almost 6 times their investment. It's fucking, you take it.
Good.
You take it all day.
Yeah.
All day. Did they win any awards, Mr. Alien?
Did they win any awards? They
Well, you
won
know what awards
three.
awards are what we do last, Mr. Alien.
Oh.
I caught you. I thought you were like this higher intelligence being. You know, you're like, oh yeah, I know all because I'm a fucking alien. We do ratings next, Mr. Alien.
Oh shit.
Mr. Alien, you're really fucking this up right now. You can't see what you're doing. You don't know what order we do stuff. You're really shitting the bed.
No, I got it.
I don't think you do.
I got it right here.
I mean, it's taking you very long.
All right. So you ready for it?
Yeah, I've been ready for several minutes. You're still not. You still don't have it up.
I got it up.
There we go.
Yeah. So IMDb give it a 6.8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes give it a 75%. Voodoo gave it a 4.4 out of 5, and Google users gave it an 81%.
What do you give it, Mr. Alien?
Well, because I'm an alien, because I'm just like a narcissist, I'm going to give it a 7.8.
What do you think Braden gives this fucking movie? Think he agrees with you?
Yeah,
Why?
because it's fun.
This was such a bad movie, dude.
What?
It was boring. When they show the fucking alien, when you're like, okay, something. Oh, there's the alien's hand. They like, oh, let's zoom in on the fucking flashlight on the ground, because that's cool. He was a priest, but he was married, and his wife died, and then he's not a priest anymore. This movie was boring. It sucked. I need you to know this. Just because aliens are in a movie doesn't mean it's good.
Oh, David.
I give this movie a fucking 4. This was not a good movie.
Jesus. I just think someone.
It was fucking slow. I like the aliens. I thought Nope was all right.
Hey, man.
Independence Day.
Did you like Jaws?
Interstellar.
Did you like Jaws?
No, not particularly.
All right. That's a good point. Did they do? I feel like
Deep Blue Sea was great.
If this movie was
Also, what's the Shyamalan twist?
the twist,
Yeah, Shyamalan's full of twists.
the twist is
There was no real twist.
and so does God. That's the twist. There's science.
Aliens exist, and so does God.
There could be science. There could be spirituality. There you go.
All right. All right, you sold me, Mr. Alien. You know what?
That's it.
4.1. You got me back in.
Thank you.
You got me back in. Not a good movie.
Okay, we'll break it down and we'll see
Fucking
why
A
we
right
didn't
we
like
will.
it.
Fucking A right we will. Let's talk awards.
Well, David, the awards gives it a little bit more credit. You want to know why?
I mean, I'd love it if you could see what you're fucking doing, Alien, and
I see.
you could click.
Because they got 3 wins out of 34 nominations.
Let's hear the wins.
Are you ready for this? They won the ASCAP award for top box office films. James Newton Howard.
I mean, that's just they made a lot of money.
Yeah, and
Doesn't really say anything about the movie being good.
Well, it was from the ASCAP Film and Television Music Awards, so he is the producer, the composer.
You fucking loved the score, didn't you?
The score was fucking amazing, David.
Yeah, score was fine.
It was great.
I don't grade movies off of, oh man, the score's they're really setting the tone here.
All right, well, listen. They also won the Boogie Award.
Bogey.
Yeah, but I like Boogie. They won the Christopher Award.
What they won at the Bogey Awards?
It doesn't even fucking say.
It says Bogey Award?
Yeah.
And the Christopher Award. Explain to me what that is.
It's for
It's for Christopher? Christopher's like, yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I really like M. Night Shyamalan.
So that's kind of like winning the 5/6 King Award.
It's one of the best awards you could win.
I mean, and like as I said that out loud.
This is like intergalactically talked about, David.
As I said that out loud, I was like, God damn it, we have to find a way to get that listed on the awards on IMDb for movies.
That'd be so fucking
We
great.
need like Denzel Washington Best Actor at the 5/6 King Awards 2022.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta figure this out.
And then 34 nominations, which just means like, you know.
Anything good though? Like, let's scroll through. Scroll through, and you can't see, so I'll tell you if I see anything good.
All right, let's see.
Fangoria Chainsaw, Golden
Yep.
Schmoes,
Yep,
Golden Schmoes.
that's a good one.
Still nothing. Still nothing. Phoenix,
Yeah.
Satellite.
Satellite Awards.
Teen Choice.
Yeah, that's not shit.
Yeah, really critically acclaimed movie. Christopher really loved it. Christopher is like, this is a fucking good movie. He's like, yeah, people rag on Signs. This is a good movie.
Shyamalan did say this was the easiest movie for him to direct and shoot.
No shit.
There you go.
Here's the thing. I would be shocked if it took them more than a week to make this thing. M. Night Shyamalan, I'd have been pumped if M. Night Shyamalan was like, I mean, we just do it all at the house. We just let's make it quick.
Fucking one take.
Let's go. Let's maximize the money that we're spending off of this.
Yeah.
They're paying me $15 million to make this fucking movie.
You know what so a little fun fact, they grew the crops just like an Interstellar.
Holy shit! You do fun facts?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Bro, just full of them. And so yeah, they grew fucking a crop field. Didn't make money off the crop field, but I'm sure a lot of that budget went to the crop field. There you go.
There we go. That's $72 million right there.
Yeah, because Shyamalan doesn't like CGI. Obviously,
Fuck
from the
CGI. It's
CGI
gotta be
we
real.
saw.
It's gotta be real.
Yeah,
Can't be fake. Won't be fake. Can't do it.
yeah. Can't do it. Won't do it.
All right. I want to talk about this movie, but I gotta be honest with you, Mr. Alien. You're just not cutting it for me. You're not cutting it for me, so we're gonna take a break. And when we come back, your fucking face isn't gonna be on these people's screen. And I'm gonna have a real motherfucking co-host sit next to me.
All right, fine.
All right? We'll be right back.
Peace out.
And we're back. And I got a real motherfucking co-host with me, Braden Bollard, in the building.
Thank you for that.
I missed the alien already.
Huh?
You heard me.
There was an alien here?
Oh, yeah. He and I did the first 13 minutes. That was wild. Alien
serious?
Alien couldn't see half the shit. He was like, I can't even see. And I was like, Alien, you can't see the computer. What's going on? And he's like, it's fine. I can see it. I can see it. Guess what he gave this fucking movie, by the way?
Well, you know how much I love aliens.
He gave this movie a 7.8.
I mean, this seems like a pretty good.
That's a fuck you score to
was
give
gonna-
this movie.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I think I would give it like a 7.8.
It's fucking crazy. That is
sense.
fucking
That's funny that
crazy.
the alien was so spot on with what I was thinking.
So, guys, we're switching up the format a little bit.
Yeah.
It's exciting times. Thought, so my brother, he's a diehard 5/6 Kings fan. He knows who he is. I got two brothers, but like the one who didn't suggest this isn't gonna be like, yeah, it was a good idea. I suggested it'd be wild if he did. It'd be fucking like borderline sociopathic.
Really?
If he's like, yeah, it was a good idea that I suggested. I'm like fucking narcissist if he thinks that. So my brother, he suggested, he was like, hey, so like you guys each pick a movie, but you like take the notes and take a scene through scene of all of the movies that you guys do. Bet you when Braden picks a movie, he'd like to be taking the lead on it. Why don't you guys switch it up? And I was like, that's a fucking good idea. It's a good fucking idea. So, guys, this is Braden's movie. Braden's taking the lead and going forward. And, guys, when you suggest movies now, I didn't tell Braden this. I'm thinking of this off the dome. Let us know who you want taking you through scene by scene.
Oh.
You know?
I like it.
You might listen and be like, I like the way Braden does it. I want Braden to do my favorite movie. So when you go to 56kings.com and you go to the Submit Ideas tab and you enter the movie you want to do, just put by and then either Braden or David.
Yeah.
Whoever you want breaking down the movie. So, guys,
Fuck yeah.
here's the new format going forward. I'm stoked because it means when I watch shitty movies like Signs, rather than taking like probably this hour 45-minute movie, it probably would take me 3 hours to watch it, taking the notes. Instead, I get to just sit through it and watch it and just let it happen to me.
Feels nice, huh?
It does. It does. So, guys, we're gonna jump into this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Braden, let's jump in, baby.
Yeah. So, guys, movie Signs. Directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Beautiful score by James Howard. What can I say? We start with Mel Gibson. He wakes up.
I have one thing.
Oh.
The opening credits were like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty long.
Like 3 minutes into it, I was like, all right, let's fast forward a little bit. And I could do it in 10-second intervals. And I hit it like 15, 20 times. I was like, this is fucking wild.
So I will say, like, the one thing that I do like that M. Shyamalan does in this movie is his pacing. I think maybe like towards the end you could speed up some things a little bit, but I actually like the way that he draws out, like, obviously maybe not the intro to, like, but even but even then, like,
I thought you were going to be like, I love how he was making the intro. And I was like, dude, you're fucking, I get that you, like, we're allowed to have different opinions on movies. I get that you like this one. I was like, this is a weird thing for you to argue for.
no, yeah, I'm not, yeah. But he does, like, really space out a lot of certain beats and scenes, but he does that really well with the score, or like less of the score. For example, after the score with the intro, we come in and it zooms through, like, it kind of backtracks from like being outside the house through the window to like where Mel Gibson is sleeping. And one thing that they did this a couple times with either shots looking out the window or Mel looking out the window is the absence of noise and birds and crickets, which is trying to hint that there's something that, like, when you don't hear shit like that, that's basically saying something's in the area. And they show that, like, right through the window, right through the gate. Well, Mel Gibson, he ends up waking up. He's just, like, brushing his teeth, cleaning up after his kids, and he hears a scream. And then we see Phoenix.
So hold on, two things we saw here.
Huh.
He had, there's a picture of him dressed as a priest.
Yeah.
And there's a
See a
spot on the wall where
Yeah.
there was a cross.
Yeah.
Looked like it had been there for years because it's down, but the outline is still there on the wall.
Yeah, from the paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's Scream. We see Joaquin Phoenix. I'm going to call him Joaquin Phoenix. He wakes up. Also, here's the Scream. We come to find out that he has, like, a side house, too, and they work on, like, a farm where they have, like, these ginormous crop fields. And we hear a Scream. They go basically running through the crop field.
Corn.
Huh?
It's corn.
Yeah, corn. Oh, it was corn. And they made that a point, too. They didn't want wheatgrass because they felt like corn was taller, so it was more, like, ominous and, like, sketchy.
And what did it remind you of?
It's corn.
Oh no, that's not what I was saying. I mean, that's
corntastic.
great too. That's great. that is also great and way more relevant than mine. Candy cane.
Yep, that too.
First thing I thought when I saw the corn was, I was like, this is like Joyride.
Yeah. But they run over and it's their kids. So it's there's a young boy named Morgan and then a young girl named Bo. Bo is like probably 3 or 4. Morgan's probably like 7 or 8 or something.
Bo is the girl in Little Miss Sunshine. Morgan is Macaulay Culkin's little brother.
Yep. Yeah, which is kind of weird because they look very much alike. And when
I thought it was Macaulay Culkin right off the bat.
Me too.
And
I looked it up, and then it's not. And then I was like, oh, wait, no, I remember this kid being in different movies than Macaulay. And what's funny is Macaulay does, like, more upbeat, happy kind of, like, characters as to where his brother is playing. Wait, you don't think so?
you and I have to break down The Good Son,
Oh, okay.
starring Macaulay Culkin at some point.
Okay. All right. Put some. I guess like when I'm thinking about fucking Home Alone.
You think
or
of Home
something.
Alone? Yeah, no, that's understandable.
Well, especially when they're younger. Kind
I
of thing.
think of The Good Son.
But and then you see the way that his brother plays these characters, and it's more like spaced out. You're kind of like more weird. You're more like, I don't know, timid in maybe certain ways and stuff. Like his voice is very low. It's completely different than like the younger or the older brother, the way he plays those, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of cool because they look very similar. But they go out to the cornfield and they find them. And then Mel asks Morgan, and you know, like, hold on, let me see. Mel asks, where's Morgan? And she says, are you in my dream too? And he says, this is not a dream. And then he hears his son, Morgan, or also fucking Home Alone's brother, yell for him. And basically Morgan says, what's happening? Mel's like, the dogs are barking. It wakes us, or opposite. Mel's like, Morgan, what's happening? And then Morgan's like, the dogs are barking. It woke us up. And then Mel's like, are you hurt? Morgan's like, I think God did it, which is like so weird. Like the fact that he's just like right off the rip, like God did it. And like the way they kind of start this out, like we get put right into it. And then Mel's like, did what? And Morgan just turns his face and he's just in a fucking cornfield or in a big crop circle in the cornfield. And it's just this huge fucking circle and Mel Gibson's jaws like fucking dropped. Let me see. And then, so the dogs are also like in there and they're basically like marking their territory, which I kind of thought was cool. Like we basically come to find out that animals are very sensitive to these crop circles and what's going on. And they kind of think of it as like a predator. So they're trying to mark their territory. So you're seeing these dogs like running around, pissing all over the place. But they come back inside and Mel calls.
If you think there's a predator in the area, I feel like the pee would attract the predator.
And
are dogs just so arrogant that they're like, I'll fuck a lion up?
I don't know.
You let that lion know this is my spot.
But
you come over here and try to take the spot from me, lion, see what happens.
I guess they think that's like a deterrent of
Because
some sort.
if I'm a dog, I'm like, oh, I want to keep a low prof.
Jesus, do you see
I
the
want to keep a
circle?
low prof. That thing is gonna kill me.
This is fucking sketchy, yo. But Mel calls a friend named Lee to see if I guess his son named Lionel and
No.
well, it's got like a weird name. For,
It's
Lionel.
If you don't have it written down, I will find it because it's ridiculous. It gets brought up a few times, and they never.
Well, I tried to listen to it. It sounded like Lionel.
I have
Wolf
it. All right.
Okay.
Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington Boys.
Okay, the Wolfington Boys. I heard Wolf Brothers.
They never show up in this movie.
They actually one does.
Lionel, he's there like filling something out. They're not a factor.
Yeah.
We never meet the Wolfington Boys. Like you can't, M. Night Shyamalan, you can't, that's the twist. That's the fucking twist in this movie. You can't tell me, like, through the first 20 minutes of this movie, they just keep bringing up, they're like, man, I bet this guy Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington Boys written all over it. You can't just keep bringing up that crazy group. That is the Wolfington Boys. And then they never show up.
I would say that's one thing that he could have done better. Isn't that one in particular thing? It's just he's trying to show that this is a very small town and that everyone kind of knows everyone, which we come to find out.
I needed Lionel. I needed Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington Boys to be in an alley somewhere, all wearing leather jackets and being like, well, looky what we got here. That is what this movie had to deliver. And they fell up far short of that mark.
They should have showed maybe like a scene in the opening or something like that of like him coming back from town and those boys. Just
the Wolfington Boys should have just been causing havoc this whole movie.
Yeah.
That is all that we were led to believe here.
Yeah.
Is that Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington Boys were just motherfucking everybody in town. His crops are destroyed, and he's like, I know it's Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington Boys.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I didn't like that Shyamalan wanted us to be dependent upon just accepting that this town is so fucking small that everyone just knows each other so well.
Or that those people exist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree.
The fucking Wolfington boys.
But apparently Lee, the father, was like, no, they were at the movies. It wasn't them, which is like weird because it's weird because like, okay, even if you know Lee, the father, you're like friends. Like your brother is Joaquin Phoenix. Like he's like 30 years old now. Like they're not like a bunch of kids that are like the Cabana Colony boys or some shit. Like it's like they're like middle-aged fucking guys. You know what I'm saying? That you're calling someone else's parent about. Like, how old do you think Joaquin Phoenix is portraying? Because they already said, like, he could have went to the pros, blah, blah, blah.
They didn't already say that.
Well, yeah.
They're going to say that, yeah. Joaquin, he's an adult. He's not
That's
a kid.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it's a weird dynamic.
Also, it's morning, Lee.
Yeah.
Like, nah, they're at the movies. Like, well, Lee, it's 10 in the morning. Have they been there? Last time I was in the crops was yesterday morning.
Yeah.
The 24-hour movie? Is it the new Avengers movie is coming out and they did the thing where you go stay at the movie theater and you watch all the Marvel movies leading up to it? Is that what the fucking Wolfington boys are up to?
Just a nonstop fucking...
Yeah. No, they're not. So it's feasible that those motherfuckers destroyed my crops, Lee.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else
And
we got?
so when he turns around, Bo and Morgan are like taking care of the dog and the dog peed on the ground. And basically, like, Bo was like, oh, he's sick. So they're like, all right, we'll take him outside. He goes to clean up the pee, and he grabs one thing of napkins.
I just think Mel Gibson... We'll get to that. I like that.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson told him to call Dr. Whoever. And McCulkin, he just seems like a shitty kid. He's like, he's not an animal doctor.
Yeah.
It's like, he's not an animal doctor. And he's like, he'll know what to do. He's a fucking doctor, all right? I'm sure he'll know what to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, one napkin.
He grabs fucking like one napkin, tries to clean it up, and turns around, and then Officer fucking Paskey, her name's Caroline, is just standing like it goes like the open door hallway right to the kitchen. She's standing at the fucking edge of the kitchen. It's like, oh, so. And he's like, well, I called you guys fucking 2 hours ago. And it's like, dude, okay, well, obviously you guys are pretty close, but you just come into this guy's home. I don't know. Like, this is how it was in Pennsylvania back in the day. Like,
she had to hurry in case Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington boys had the family tied up in there.
yeah, that's
She had to hurry. Oh, those Wolfington boys are up to no good. I can feel it.
But yeah, Mel's like, oh, that was quick, Caroline. I only called you guys 2 hours ago. Caroline says, oh, Miss Kindleman twisted her ankle as she puts in a dive for her life as a bunch of kids come riding down the sidewalk on skateboards. She went down to Thornton's store this morning and started spitting on the new skateboards. Spitting. By the time I get there, Miss Kindleman must have sprayed the whole damn place. She must have had a cold or something because I won't eat for a fucking week. So what happened to your crops? And it was like this, she just like went on this fucking like rant about how shitty her fucking day is and how crazy this woman is, you know, but what's up with your fucking crops? Because I don't buy a fucking word. So he takes him out Mel takes her out to go look at the crops. And as this is happening, we come to find like they really touch in on the weird tendencies of these fucking kids. Because we see Bo and Morgan trying to give the dog water, and Bo's like, oh, this is contaminated, and Morgan's like,
She keeps saying all the water's contaminated.
yeah,
That's like her favorite thing.
yeah, and Morgan's like, yeah, you don't even know what that fucking word means, and he's like, it's tap water, I mean, and like obviously tap water, yeah, that shit's contaminated. Okay, she's fucking right. All right, you need some Kangen water.
It's not medical grade 9.5 pH water. It's going to replenish my white blood cells. They use this shit in hospitals, guys.
Literally medical grade shit right here. But yeah, so obviously you could hear the health.
You can just, I feel the health, guys.
Yeah. Red blood cells blooming. Yeah. But yeah, where the fuck was I? But basically,
is it the Wolfington boys up to no good?
Yeah, it's the Wolfington boys being up to no good. But yeah, I mean, it's fucking tap water. So obviously it does taste funny, as she says. And he's like, dude, does it really matter? Like, this dog fucking licks his butt all day long. Like, just fucking put it in the bowl. And she's like, all right. So she puts it in the bowl. The moment she puts it in the fucking bowl, the dog knows what's up. He's like, bitch, you're feeding me some contaminated ass tap water. Get the fuck back, motherfucker. Starts growling, barking, stands up. He's like, oh, you, because like the moment he starts growling, he's like, you ain't putting that shit in my motherfucking bowl. And Morgan's like, whoa, what's up, Houdini? Like, you're gonna drink this fucking water.
Yeah, he's telling Bogo's move. He's like, don't you fucking move.
Yeah.
Don't leave. All right.
Yeah.
This dog needs to know.
Yeah. So then he stands up.
We're in charge.
Yeah, the dog's like fucking pissed off. He's like, oh yeah? Stands up on all fours, starts barking at him now. He's like, what, bitch? Throw that water out. I want some clean, Kangen, medical grade shit. None of this tap. I'm done with this shit, bro. And it basically cuts to Mel and the officer just being like, dude, this is
They're out in the crops right now.
yeah, they're in the crop circle, and they're like, I don't know, dude. This could be a bunch of hoaxers, but I don't know. And then all of a sudden we hear a fucking scream.
No.
Huh.
She keeps calling him father.
Yeah.
And he says, don't call me father.
Yeah.
And had you not caught that picture in the beginning, because they don't like hone in on it, there's just a picture there and he has a fucking priest collar.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what the fuck is going on here? Why does she keep calling him father? And he's addressing it and saying, don't call me father. But he goes, stop. And she's like, what is it? And he goes, I don't hear my kids.
That's exactly it. And they walk through the fucking crop field and they get out, and I love Mel Gibson's like reaction, like as if he doesn't, when he comes out, he's like looking over here and then he sees him like over there, and it's like, I loved it. I don't know, like it was a little overplayed, but at the same time, like, okay, I get it.
He's like,
Oh, there they are.
Whoa.
And it's like, I mean, I like the way Mel plays this. I wonder if this is Shyamalan's directing, but like, it just seems not the way that most parents would react to this situation.
Agreed.
They run over Mel and the cop, and it's just Bo on the ground, like head straight down, like, oh, I just did such a terrible thing. Morgan, I mean. And Bo's up in the fucking little playground, just like so timid, so scared. And Houdini's dead. Houdini got fucking stabbed by a pitchfork.
He had like a skewer. He
Yeah.
was the kid was grilling food.
Yeah,
And he's like, Dad's gonna burn the fucking chicken again.
Wait, that's a good point. Yeah. We find out that Mel's not a good cook.
Yeah.
Or is always burning food. 'Cause he's
Always burning it.
Yeah, preoccupied with fucking crops or something. But yeah, Mel's like, just like, there's like a long fucking pause.
So the kid says, Houdini, it needed to happen. Houdini wanted to hurt Bo.
Yeah.
And he's like, are you hurt anywhere? He goes, no. He goes over to Bo. He's like, Bo, are you hurt? She's like, no. And
He's
then
like, I'm so sorry.
And then she's like, all right, well, thank God for Morgan. Like, you should be way more concerned. You'd be like, I don't think the dog was trying to hurt anybody. I think he just murdered the dog.
Well, it was weird too, because Morgan's like,
I got a psychotic son here that I need to get help for.
because the way Morgan said it too was like, oh, the dog fell on me, and
He said fell on me. He said fell on me.
he's being aggressive to Bo. I would have been like, oh, from the way my son acts, the way
no.
he says things monotone, like, I'm like, oh, my son's a psychopath. Like,
That is one more. Braden and I are giving this kid way more like energy and like enunciation. Like he's very. He's like, the dog fell on me and was gonna hurt Bo, so I had to do it.
and Bo's not saying shit, so I would be like,
Bo's quiet over in the corner, just like shaking and like that. And Mel Gibson just like, well, thank God.
yeah, it's like no questioning at all. Like, imagine you knew this dog for 10 years, like, but the dog's older than fucking Morgan.
Yeah.
Like, oh, all of a sudden he wants to kill you guys?
Well, do you think, like, what did Daryl tell you the reason he killed Quixie was?
He didn't. He said he gave it away.
No, he definitely killed the dog. Have you not talked to him about? Have you not like gotten the truth from him as an adult?
He said the dog got hit by a car. And
You and I both know Daryl fucking murdered Quixie.
I don't know that.
You and I both do. Absolutely. And this isn't a funny route you decided to take my joke here. you decided to act like a child and like I was breaking, as if I haven't joked about it on this show before, instead of just leaning into it and doing something we can work off of. You're just like,
Yeah, he fucking killed the dog, all right?
Yeah. You gotta fucking elevate the situation. I go, what did Daryl tell you? You can be like, he said Quixie was attacking him and he had to do it. It was self-defense. You gotta hit me with something like that.
That's a good point.
You can't just shut it down and then we spend minutes of me trying to convince you that Quixie was killed by him.
Yeah, well, fuck you, bro.
What happens next in the movie?
Well, funny enough, Phoenix fucking walks out with like a bowl of popcorn, just so nonchalant, has no idea what's going on. And Mel's like, "Where the fuck were you?" And
He didn't cuss.
yeah, he didn't cuss, but he's like, "Where were you?" And Bo's like, "Houdini's sick," which is so weird. That's all she says. Like, she is acting like Houdini's not even dead. She's like, "Houdini's sick,"
Houdini's sick.
and he's just kind of just looks out and looks a little dumbfounded. But then tells him to go tie up Isabella to the back of the shed and like tie it fucking tight.
They got
And-
2 dogs.
Yeah,
Well,
2
now they
dogs.
got 1.
Yeah,
But
both-
they had 2.
Both German Shepherds, big dogs. Later that night, Mel wakes up to Bo right in front of him, which is great. Like, we get a very extreme close-up of Mel, and then it just pops to Bo, and she's just, like, eye-line with him. And she's like, "There's a monster outside my room. Can I get a glass of water?" And Mel's like, "What? You have enough water by your bed." And she's like, "Well, that's old." He's like, "Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Are you serious?" No wonder why I don't believe in this guy anymore. But Mel basically walks her back to the room, and what's fucking stood out to me is I don't know why Shyamalan had Morgan sleeping the way he did, but like what a crank neck that is. Like, it was like on his side, like all the pressure's on his face.
Kids can sleep like that.
I guess, but
Yeah.
But Mel fixes him and then sits by Bo and just like kind of like looks at her for a second and he's like, you know, what are you thinking about? And she's like, "Why do you speak to Mom when you're alone?" And Mel's like, "Well, it makes me feel better." And Bo asks, "Does she ever answer you?" And he says, "No." And like very just soul sucked out of him, like, "Nah, not at all." And she says, "Yeah, she doesn't answer me either." And he looks up and sees a fucking alien, essentially, like a humanoid figure on top of the roof, like right out the window. Like this is like within the first 15 minutes, and I'm like, we're sucked in. And that score, the score comes on beautifully, and you're just like, I'm in it now. Thank you, James Howard. So then he goes and wakes up Phoenix and says, and then Phoenix is like, it's fucking, he's so hyped up. I mean, he's got a grudge and a vendetta.
Mel Gibson wakes him up and says, "Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington Boys are back."
Yeah.
And you're like, guys, there's no payoff to this fucking group of misfits that are just going around terrorizing the community.
As if there's no one else in the world
like,
that it could
it's
possibly be.
Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington Boys are back. We got to do something.
So Phoenix is fucking hyped, and he's like, it's time for a fucking ass whooping. And Mel's like, "Well, listen, I don't think this is like an intelligent way to go about this. Like, Lee's a friend of mine," like trying to like talk him down. And Phoenix is like, "We're going to fucking act crazy, okay? Me and you, same time. We're going to run out there, and we're going to scare them into the open, and then we're going to fucking like whoop their ass." And Mel's having the toughest time going about this. Like, this is where him being a father is like a reverend is like really shining through, because he's like, explain crazy. And Phoenix is like, like cursing. And Mel's like, "You want me to curse?" And Phoenix is like, "You don't mean, you don't mean it. It's just for show." And Mel's like, I won't be convincing. It doesn't sound natural when I curse." And Phoenix is like, "Just make noises." And then for fuck's sake, Mel's like, "Explain noises." Like, this guy does not get it at all. And Phoenix is like, "Jesus, dude, listen, you're going to go out there and you're going to be fucking going frantic. Okay. Are we going to do this or not?" And Mel's like, "No."
That's the best. No, we're not doing it.
No. And then Phoenix is like, "All right, listen, they're going to steal something next time." And then all of a sudden an outdoor fucking light shines on. Like, he's trying to convince his father. It's like, "Listen, we need to fucking do
It's
this."
not his father.
Or, I mean, his brother.
I just looked that up, though. Mel Gibson is 22 years older than Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Could they not have felt like I get Joaquin Phoenix is a good actor.
Yeah.
When you can get him, you get him. But like they couldn't have found a closer. Or Shyamalan wrote the fucking movie. That could be his oldest son. He had a kid very young. That could be his nephew.
Yeah.
They can come up with anything else. Brother.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, he's got brothers 22 years younger than him, and that doesn't get addressed. They're just
So-
brothers.
Who do you think could have filled his place? Because there's one actor that they were thinking of.
I don't know, fucking Vince Vaughn. Bruce Willis.
It was Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. Would
Seems
have
like
been great,
they would- yeah.
and seems like he would be fucking Mel Gibson's brother.
But I do say Joaquin Phoenix, like the whole discrepancy with the age, I think would play better with Mark Ruffalo. But I feel like
Sure.
Joaquin Phoenix does a great job with adding this like weird, ominous feel.
Yeah,
'cause
there's not enough of that throughout the fucking family, so why not add one more weird fucking
yeah,
person?
there you go. You got Bo
Ruffalo
Morgan.
would have made the family feel normal.
He would have. That's the whole thing. Like Mark would have been too
Too much of a
too
fucking,
comforting.
Too
you
much
know?
of a human being, and they would have been
Yeah.
like, we can't do that.
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
Mark.
So they and this is hilarious because they end up, they're like, okay, we're gonna go on the count of 3, and then 1, 2, and they fucking run outside, and the first thing Mel fucking says is, "I'm insane with anger." And oh no, that was too loud for
We got
Garage
too
Band.
loud there.
Yeah.
And now you're on the wrong screen. We're
No,
losing
no.
it. There we go.
Yeah. And then Phoenix is like, "I'm gonna beat your fucking ass." He didn't say that, but he was like,
He might have.
it was
Or
close.
someone beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Like, he was cussing.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix was like legitimate, like cussing, screaming. Sounded like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he said, "I'm gonna beat your ass, bitch." And Mel's like, "I'm losing my mind." And then they meet in the fucking middle, and there's no one. And they're like, "What? How?" Because even as they were running around, they're seeing shadows because they have light sensors on the corner of their house, and so every time this alien's running around the corner of their house, it would shine the light. You would see like really quick its shadow, and it would like disappear. And they meet in the middle in the back of the house, and they're like, "What the fuck is it?" Like they're like dumbfounded, and then they hear like a little bit of like alien noises, and they look up and they start hearing something like crawling on the roof, and they're like, literally jaw drop, like, how did this thing get on the roof? And as they're still looking at it, like thinking it's still on the roof, it somehow is now behind them, and I think now it's just it's for sure toying with them. They even say it because it's doing parkour shit. Like it jumped off the swing. There's so much opening around the playground. Like it didn't have to go through the swing, but it just said like, "Hey, I'm gonna hit."
it had to go.
I'm gonna hit a big swing, where you build up the swing and then you jump off of it, and then he jumped off. We don't see this, but this is for sure what the alien did.
And that's and here's the thing though.
And he ends up in the bush, and it's just
Here's
like,
the thing though. Show us that.
yeah,
Like that's my issue with this movie, is like all of the things that I'm like, oh, that was probably pretty cool. Like I just
Yeah.
have to imagine
yeah.
that it's what's happened.
So that's one thing I don't like about the budget. It's like, dude, the budget should not be this high for the way that you've been able to, like, and like, yeah, it's suspenseful that we don't see the alien at the same time. Like, it's a little Jaws fucking tactic right there. But then you should be saving money, and it pisses me off that this movie cost $75 million when I'm like, oh, I didn't get enough. But the acting is I think, shall I say, phenomenal. Brilliant.
I was gonna say, how did you describe Colin Farrell?
Brilliant.
You're like, he's fucking brilliant here, guys. Actor of a generation with this performance.
Yeah, for sure. But next day, they obviously called their butt buddy officer, Caroline Paskey, whatever
Butt buddy?
yeah.
They
'Cause
called the police officer
she's the same one every
to come
time
handle. Yeah, because it's a small town.
because of
All right.
that budget. They couldn't afford
She's dealing
one
with
more
Lionel
cop.
Pritchard and the Wolfington Boys, and then
Yeah.
she's swinging by there.
But yeah, her and Mel have a conversation. But what was funny is Mel is having a convo with Bo. Like she's there, she's talking to the family, and Mel goes, well, right before this too, she's telling Joaquin Phoenix, like how much it means to probably the younger brother that he came back after not making it in professional MLB and basically taking care of the family after what happened with
so she
her
doesn't-
brother's
I
wife.
shouldn't say that.
Like,
She doesn't bring any of that up.
yeah.
She does not.
Maybe
She
not to that
she
detail.
She just says, "Hey, I never mentioned to you before how how great it is that you moved in with him after, everything happened.
Yeah.
That is all she says.
And was
that is all she said. We don't know really what happened. We assume mom died.
Yeah.
But we don't know for sure.
And Joaquin's like, I don't think I'm that much of a help.
We know none of the baseball stuff at this point.
Yeah. I was saying that as like extra detail. But yeah, she didn't say the baseball thing. But he doubts that he's making as big of an impact as she's making it out to seem. And she's like, no, I think you are. But then we cut to...
And then he's like, well, you're a fucking woman. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, dude. And they hit on that even more in this scene. It's fucking great. But Mel's having a convo with Bo about all the fucking water in the house, like, which is funny because he's making it seem like they're showing this as if this is like the first time this is happening. Like, she's been binging on this water in different cups for probably a while now, but they shoot this scene like as if he's just stumbling upon the fucking fact that, oh, she's drinking 3 waters per room.
There's just cups of water all over the place. And he's asking her. He's
Yeah.
like, what the hell's going on? Like, what's wrong with this water? And
Yeah,
she's
and
like, it's contaminated. What about that one? There's dust in it. That one, there's a hair in it.
Yeah.
She's got an answer for everything.
For
You're
everything.
Like, you're like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah. So basically Mel goes back to the table and the officer, she starts asking questions to try and get a description about this fucking humanoid figure that they saw on the roof the other night. And they can't describe anything, like, at all, because it's dark and because they're not good at talking for some reason.
They just it was very dark.
It was very, very dark. I mean, the guy he was athletic. It was dark.
She says, I don't know if he was a giant or a midget, guys. And they're like, definitely not a midget.
Definitely not a midget.
But not quite a giant.
And then she turns this into like a fucking gender war because she's like, well, I mean, how could it not be a female? Because, there could be like this, I don't know. She starts going into like the Scandinavian Women Olympics and how they could fucking jump 10 feet because he's like, well, the roof is fucking 10 feet. And she's like, well, maybe it could be a woman.
Yeah. Scandinavian high jumpers in the Olympics. Ever heard of him, Joaquin Phoenix? And I'm watching. I'm like, the fuck are they talking about here?
Yeah.
and then, holy shit. This scene, I forgot how annoyed I was with this scene.
Yeah.
Because she's saying that. She's like, maybe it's Scandinavian. And then Joaquin Phoenix is like, all right, so just like for argument's sake, let's rule out Scandinavian high jumpers. And let's say maybe it could have been. And she's like, hey, I don't appreciate sarcasm.
Yeah.
All right? Like, the fuck? And she's dead serious.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, I'm just saying we can't rule anything out, all right? I don't appreciate your sarcasm, Joaquin Phoenix. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You said Scandinavian Olympic high jumper. What are the odds that that's who did this?
And Mel's like, okay, well, what are you getting to? And she's like, well, the other day there was this woman that threw a fit over not getting her favorite pack of cigarettes at the store, and it scared a few customers. So we're just trying to rule out all possibilities. And then that's when fucking Joaquin Phoenix is like, so, like, makes a sarcastic remark about, oh, well, can we rule out the possibility of a Scandinavian fucking Olympic female? And she's like, I don't appreciate the fucking sarcasm.
Insane
Yeah.
that she was upset that he said that. You brought it up, you psycho.
Yeah. And it's so funny because it still goes like back and forth because then he ends up like apologizing. And then right before this happens, Bo comes up and like interrupts the conversation and she's like, hey, Dad, where's the remote? Like, I can't find it. And he's like, it's probably in the cushions. She just like the way she walks away, she's got like a blanket around her. She, for some reason, reminded me of E.T. when E.T.'s wearing like the blanket and he's dressed up as the girl and he's like waddling through the house and he's really small. Kind of, for some reason, reminded me of that. But so she walks away and Phoenix says, excluding the possibility that a female Scandinavian Olympian was running around our house last night, what else could the possibility be? And then she says, I'm done asking questions. I don't appreciate the sarcasm. But ask if there's anyone, that has anything against you, Mel, since, you left the church. Maybe someone's got something against you because you're not a father anymore, Reverend.
Still a father to 2 lovely kids.
Yeah, that's right. And Phoenix apologizes for the sarcasm and then proceeds to bring back the gender war and says, I'm pretty strong and I'm pretty fast. And and this guy was just toying with us, okay? Fucking the roof's 10 feet, all right, bitch? Listen here, all right? Had to be a dude.
No woman can do that.
I was almost a professional athlete, okay?
Yeah. And like you women, like you're all, it's equal. Women can do everything men can do. Like, you know, like the Celtics head coach, he gets suspended for a full season for having sex with a female subordinate. But like, what I want to know is, you know, I'm with Jalen Rose. You know, like we know his name. Why we don't know her name too?
Yeah.
Huh? She's not a minor. Why don't we know her name?
Yeah.
So we can slut shame her for ruining the Celtics. The Celtics could have won the NBA Finals this year, and that slut had to ruin it. I want to know her name.
Yeah.
All right? Me and Jalen Rose, we want her fucking name.
Yeah.
Go on.
And it's funny because he also was like trying not to be offending when he brought it back to that it was a guy. And then sure enough, who really saves the day? Bo, a female. She comes back in, re-interrupts the conversation. She's like, listen, I can't find the fucking remote. Obviously, I'm not speaking, but Mel's like, listen,
Be
honey.
great. Like, Dad, remote's not in the fucking cushions. All right?
What the
Like-
fuck you want
Like,
from
what are you sending me to go look in the cushion? No, you think I didn't look there before I came here?
Come on.
Like, fuck you, man. Where's the remote? You're hiding it. I know it.
Yeah. And Mel's like, well, listen, honey, just change it on the TV, okay? And she's like, I did, but it's the same show on every on every channel. And they're like, they all look at each other like, the fuck? What does that mean? So then it pops over. They're looking at the television now, and breaking news.
Yeah.
Crop circles everywhere, bro.
Yeah, a news thing where like they interrupted every channel.
Yeah, it's
They're
like emergency
it's
breaking
fucking
news.
Wild.
Something's going on. There's crop circles all over the world. There's been, we come to find out, there's been 18 in India alone within the last 72 hours. There's been hundreds over the entire globe in multiple different countries, all happening at the same time, all with very similar crop circles. Little fun fact about the film, they actually made all the crop circles. They didn't want like any CGI or anything like that for the crop circles, so they made all those. And just go on a little rant about crop circles really quick. I don't know if you guys have ever actually been into them, but there are some pretty cool crop circles out there. There's one that equals the equation to pi, and it took them fucking months to figure out that that's what the crop circle stood for. There's one that represents Julia's set, which is like fucking sacred geometry and shit like that. And then it's just about like this weird design of like sacred geometry. But they also have one that is, I think I brought this up in another podcast before, where we sent out a signal from the SETI fucking satellite or some shit out into space, and it went over like, it was like a code that they could break down that shows our DNA structure, where we are in our solar system, what planet we live on, the gases that we're able to survive off of. And apparently like 20 years later, in front of where that was sent out from, that like satellite or whatever, it was a crop circle that had the exact same code, but apparently put their information instead. You guys should look it up. It's pretty cool. And then a few days later, there was another one where if you flew over at a certain time of day, the fucking light from the sun would reflect off of the way that the pattern was done into the crop circle to where you could see an alien face, which is pretty cool. But there's been other ones too where there's been like binary code fucking things that, once again, you can only see at a certain time of day because of sunlight. And they were able to like break it down, and it was like basically a code being like, hey, beware of bearers of false gifts. People are lying to you. You know, be good. It was pretty cool. There's a lot of cool crop circles out there, guys. You got to check it out. The SETI signal crop circle. Check it out. But yeah.
Yeah, really cool stuff. And like, speaking of cool crop circles, Daddy's got to take a piss.
Oh.
So you got to stick around. We're going to be right back. And we're back.
We're back.
Hey, Derek Jeter. Fuck you.
Such a piece of shit.
Fucking piece of shit.
God.
He's just doing commercials now. That's like his new thing. There's like a Jeep Wagoneer commercial, and it's got Derek Jeter and his fucking really hot wife.
That smug fucking
Some
face of
fucking
his.
slutty daughter of his. That's for his. She's like 3.
Because I was like, I don't know exactly. I have no idea what she looks like.
Yeah, fucking Derek Jeter,
God.
piece of shit.
The worst. You know who else is a piece of shit? Amber Heard. But you know who's not a piece of shit? Johnny Depp. And guess what? Johnny Depp was one of the people that they thought to use for Mel Gibson's role. What do you think about that?
I'm so happy you were able to tie this in somehow. I had no idea what you were doing, and I was just like, it's a real topical reference Braden's going with here.
I can tell you why, too. I can tell you why they chose Mel Gibson over Johnny Depp.
So I like Mel Gibson more
So do I.
for the role. Yeah,
Yeah. It's not weird. It's not a weird enough movie for Johnny Depp, you know?
there we go.
Yeah. Maybe there's more aliens. But Shyamalan chose Mel Gibson because he's the guy you believe would protect his family at all costs. I mean, I'm like, come on.
I mean, we all saw The Patriot.
Am I right?
He left his family to go fight a war. So that's exactly what I think about Mel Gibson. He let 2 of his sons die. And M. Night Shyamalan, I do not think of someone who protects their family and think Mel Gibson. I think Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson went to Europe and just motherfucked everybody to get his daughter back.
Well, and you know what's funny too is because
And Harrison Ford, get off my plane.
I was gonna say it's something with the farm. Mel Gibson's always got a farm, bro.
That is,
What's with it?
I wish he would have said that.
Yeah,
Well, she'd be like, he's got that farm feel.
he's a
you
family
know?
guy with a farm. You
And I'm
know,
like, yeah, he does have that farm feel.
yeah,
You're right.
Yeah. So there was that breaking fucking news on the television. So they're like, oh my God, it's not a fucking hoax. Even then they're like, well, it could be the biggest hoax in human history, or this shit is really happening. And they just like left that up to like everyone else like watching the
I was
news.
hoping biggest hoax, human history.
Yeah.
They're like, they got us. Banksy did it again.
Yeah. And thank God for this small time fucking cop, because as they're walking out, the officer's like, oh, listen, I did some fucking research, okay? And it shows that a couple of guys can do a crop circle in a night, just over a few hours. You know what I'm here to say? Bullshit, dude.
She's like, I'm telling you right now. You give Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington Boys 3 hours, they'd make it look wild out there.
And that's what she's trying to fucking say. She's like bringing it back.
Just it's Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington Boys. Always
She
has
doesn't
been,
say
always
it.
will be.
But that's what she's enticing violence is what she's doing.
Inciting.
Enticing?
She's inciting violence.
Can't be enticing? Would that be not the right way to...
I mean, she's making it sound enticing. But
That's what I'm saying, though.
But you can't use it as a verb.
Okay.
Yeah, she's inciting
David is
violence.
just the most
Yeah.
grammar.
So like enticing, like it like I get what you're saying when you say it, but it's not a verb.
Yeah.
That'd be like she's nicing those people.
Someone's like,
Yeah.
I'm writing this down. I use that too much. So
she's
now I
nicing
learned.
those people. No one uses that too much.
Yeah.
There's nobody listening to this right now who's like, man, I use enticing as a verb
all the time.
Dude, I gotta change that.
Yeah, you're right. Inciting.
You know, you can use enticing as right. Enticing. You can use.
If I look it up later, David,
You
it
can
says
use
it as
so
a verb.
entice. Entice can be a verb.
There you go.
Let me entice you.
All right.
Enticing, I really don't think can be a verb.
Yeah, that ing.
She's inciting violence.
Yeah, it makes more sense for sure.
Entices can be a verb though.
But once again, she's just Officer Know-It-All. We see this so much throughout this film. She just knows what to do, and she's like, "Well, listen, I got some advice for you. All right, that you and the kids, you guys shouldn't worry about this. I would take them into town, and just have an average everyday fucking thing. Just do an everyday kind of stuff,
You know what I wish
It's
Mel
good
Gibson
medicine."
would have said?
He's like, thanks.
You know what I wish Mel Gibson would have said?
What?
Hey, how are your kids? Because as far as we can tell, this lady's single. She doesn't have kids.
Yeah.
We know nothing about her backstory.
And she's
I
probably
wish
a
Mel
dyke.
Gibson would just hit her with.
She's probably. I mean, her talk about Scandinavian fucking Olympians. I'm sure
She's like,
she's
they're so fucking hot, too.
like, how dare you not
They
bring
got,
up
they got these broad shoulders.
Yeah.
Their thighs are just rock hard.
You
Oh,
seen how high they can jump?
so hot.
Yeah.
So fucking hot.
But he's like, that's some good advice. And then the last thing we heard about from the TV fucking host was talking about the 18 crop circles in 72 hours in India. But then we cut to them in the car. They're heading in town. I love this. The first shot is of Bo and Morgan in the background, and Bo is just like, and Morgan's like, not gonna, just like David does.
I was gonna do it. Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. And then Morgan's like, can you turn the radio on? And Joaquin Phoenix goes to turn it on, and like they do, and like with
Mel Gibson, no. Joaquin Phoenix says, turn it on. Mel Gibson's like,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. So he lets him turn it on. But.
Yeah, for a second, you hear like instantly, it's like, oh my god, there's fucking lights in the sky.
Yeah, like, aliens everywhere. He shuts it off.
It's like we don't need radio for now, just for a while. But they go there and they immediately, the potential of like alien invasion is right around the corner. And the first thing they do when they go into town is just split up. And I immediately was like, oh, something bad's gonna happen, but it doesn't. Not to spoil anything, nothing like too crazy happens, but the interactions they have with people in town leaves you fucking jaw drop. Like, oh my god, these people are the fucking aliens. I'm sure the aliens coming down are like more simpleton, like-minded individuals, but these people.
Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix, and the kids went to 3 different places.
Yeah.
And all 3 of the interactions were just nonsense.
So we first start with Morgan at like the front desk of a bookstore with what I assume are the owners of the bookstore, and it's just like I think it's like a wife and husband, like a couple, and they're an older couple, and the guy is just like, this is a bunch of crap. They're just trying to sell us soda, plain and simple. I've seen this fucking soda commercial 12 times today, 12 fucking times. Like, he is just so caught up on the fact that this is propaganda, and they're just using this as a ploy to sell fucking Coca-Cola. And Morgan's like, yeah, well, I'm looking for an extraterrestrial book. And he's like, you believe in that crap? And then the woman is just...
Morgan's like 8 years old.
Yeah.
He's like, you believe in that?
Yeah. And the wife is just a fucking wizard. And she's like, oh, yeah, I think we have some. They're on the last bookshelf to the left, 12th shelf down, right corner.
Doesn't say 12.
It was something
She
ridiculous.
says top shelf, bookshelf all the way down, 3rd book in.
Yeah, but it was...
She owns the store. She knows it like the back of her hand.
And she even said, she was like, we just got him in, or something like that.
She knows that shit.
For you out-of-town fucking folks. Mel is picking up medicine at the pharmacy, and it's great because all the interactions are just building up anxiety, too. And it's like the radio guy is going nuts in the background. How it's just a fucking hoax. And then the pharmacist... for some reason, is like a fucking teenager, too. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah, she's not the actual pharmacist. She's the fucking other person there.
You're talking about the front desk clerk kind of thing?
Yeah,
I mean,
like every pharmacy, there's like a main pharmacist, and then there's other people back there, but they aren't the pharmacists. They're the pharmacy tech.
okay, so I thought you had to be a pharmacist to be able to like give someone medication. No. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There has to be a pharmacist signing off on all of the shit.
Yeah, so they're just giving him
that
like
girl
shit that's
can't
already
run
signed
that
off.
pharmacy by herself. There's someone with a degree who's in charge.
But even then, this girl is so young. I'd be like, I don't even trust you. Get me Advil. You're gonna give me some fucking. I don't know. What do you think about it?
I think that's your trust issues.
That's,
You're like, she just wants to rape me. She's gonna drug me.
that's right,
Drug
David.
me. And she's gonna pin me down. There's gonna be nothing I can do.
But she's a teenager, essentially working, at a pharmacy, who for some reason needs to confess her sins.
So she keeps calling him father.
Yeah.
And he keeps correcting her.
He's like, I listen.
Like, come on, I haven't been a priest for 6 months. You know
Listen,
this.
young girl whose name I know front and back. I've not been a father for 6 months now, okay?
I'm not a priest. Also, how did this happen? Because he's not a deacon. They father
reverend.
and they call him priest. He's the fucking collar. He's a priest.
Yeah.
He was married with children
Yeah.
and then stopped being a priest 6 months ago. Are you allowed to get married, have kids, and then say, now I'm going to be a full-on priest, but stay with the family?
I didn't know, obviously I should know after being in fucking Catholicism for so long, but I didn't, is there a big difference between a priest and a reverend? Are they the same
Have you
thing?
been in Catholicism for so long?
I mean, since I was born, and then I stopped for 10
Yeah,
years.
when's the last time you went to when's the last time you went to a mass?
Yesterday.
You went to mass yesterday? So weddings don't count. When's the last time you went to actual mass? Not for a wedding or a funeral.
I know.
You just went to mass.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go
Yeah, probably like
probably
I don't-
7th grade.
No, probably like 8 years ago for like Christmas or something like that. Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Yeah. It's fucking in Catholicism. I went to Catholic school for 13 years. I have no idea if Mel Gibson is allowed to do what he did in this movie.
And I didn't know if like, is there a difference between a priest and a reverend? Like, isn't a priest the one that's not allowed to get married? I don't know if like a
I
reverend
don't know what a reverend. I know deacon.
because he says it and he's like, he was like, I used to be a reverend.
So I don't know what a reverend
Yeah, I don't know.
technically. You know, Brian Pearson. Shout out to Brian Pearson.
He's probably gonna know right away.
So he is Reverend Brian Pearson.
Are you fucking kidding me?
He took in like fucking 11th grade. He did an online thing, and he's like, I'm a fucking reverend.
Oh, baby,
Yeah.
baby,
Re-
Brian.
so you know what? I think Mel Gibson. I think he's on the up and up. I'm not even gonna look it. I was gonna look it up. Mel Gibson's allowed to do it.
I hope Brian doesn't get annoyed with me coming to him all the time to confess my sins.
I do. I confess to him all the time. Brian knows some weird shit, man.
Yeah. And so, basically, long story short, Mel falls victim to allowing this pharmacist girl. She's not a pharmacist.
We're not going long story short with this. She tells him that she's cussed 37 times in the last week, and then asks if douchebag is a cuss word, and he said depends on how it's used. And she said, if I say Tim Donahue, you're a douchebag for kissing whatever that slut's name was. And he goes, yep, that's a curse word. And she goes, all right, so it's not 37, it's 71. And you're like, fucking, okay, Asperger's. Like, who the hell knows that?
Yeah, exactly. And that the whole reason I really want to say long story short is because boom, like Brian probably just gets annoyed, you know. He immediately pops back at the pizza shop with the fam. Now they're all together, and the first thing he says is like,
So let's not be there yet, man.
"Oh, what?
Joaquin Phoenix was somewhere.
Oh yeah, yeah."
We met Lionel Pritchard, but none of the Wolfington boys.
Yeah, I got this. Yeah, yeah.
And
so-
Lionel Pritchard was a motherfucker.
And so Joaquin Phoenix, he's in like an army recruit place, like that'd be like, it's just like a recruiting center. And I don't know what you would call this guy. Is he a sergeant?
Recruiter.
He's just a recruiter.
Yeah.
Because his fucking chest is just filled with medals and shit. That I'm guessing just.
He's recruiting people to the fucking army in that.
He looks
small
like a
town.
highly
I know,
qualified.
He's a little bitch, and I'd fuck him up if I saw him.
And Joaquin is just like for some reason not interacting with this dude. He's just like looking at shit on the wall. And this guy just starts speaking to him like out of nowhere. And he's just like, I've got it figured out. I've had 2 separate folk talk to me that there have been strangers around. Can't tell what they look like because been staying in the shadows, covert-like. Nobody's been hurt yet. And that's the giveaway. And Joaquin is just like, I see. And the guy's like, it's called probing. It's a military procedure. You send in Renaissance group. Or is that what it is? You send in a, what do you fucking call it? A
Recon group.
but it's not.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Come on.
A recon group. Very small to check things out. Not to engage, but to evaluate the situation. Evaluate the level of danger. And he's talking like very fucking weird like this. Make sure things are all clear. And Joaquin's like, clear what? And the guy's like, for the rest of them. And then Joaquin's just kind of like, and the guy's like, hey, you didn't used to play baseball, did you? Shit, I know you. You're Merrill Hess. Hey, I was there the day you hit that 507-footer over the left field wall. Set the record, man. That thing had a motor on it. It's still the record, right? And Joaquin is just blushing. He's like, yeah, I got the bat at home on the wall. The guy's like, you got 2 minor league home run records, don't you? The guy's like, 5. Fucking 5. Put some respect on it. He's like, why weren't you in the pros making stacks of cash getting your toes licked by beautiful women? Such a weird line to say. And he's like, all of a sudden, Lionel Pritchard in the fucking corner For some reason, he's there now. Joaquin didn't see him when he was in there before.
He's enlisting, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
He's filling out paperwork.
He's like, because he had another record most people don't know about. He has the minor league strikeout record. And fucking Joaquin's like, hello, Lionel. And Lionel Pritchard's like, Merrill's a Class A screw-up. He would just swing the bat as hard as he could every time. Didn't matter what the coaches said. Didn't matter who was on base. He just would whip that bat through the air as hard as he could. Looked like a lumberjack chopping down a tree. Merrill here has more strikeouts than any two players. And the guy's like, you really got the strikeout record? And Joaquin walks over.
He's like bummed. He's
Yeah.
like, really, Matt? Like, you were my hero.
Yeah.
But you got the strikeout record?
Yeah. And then Joaquin walks over. He's like, felt wrong not to swing. And then stands by Lionel and just fucking flexes at him. And
Does
Lionel,
like a fake, like, I'm going to hit you.
yeah, and he flinches. He's like, fuck you, man. Doesn't really say that, but then, let me see. Oh yeah, Bo is making the woman in the bookstore keep bringing her new fucking water, and Morgan explains how it's like a tick for her to always get fucking new water. It was just funny to like they hone in, they just keep sticking on it. Like, you guys really need to know that Bo needs new water every 5 minutes.
She needs it.
Yeah.
Gotta have it.
Gotta have it. Like, she's got something wrong with her. She always needs that new water. And you know what the big problem is? She doesn't have hanging.
So now they're at the pizza place.
Yeah.
And Mel Gibson sits down and immediately he's like, hey, I want none of you under any circumstances to ever be alone with, and he says whatever the chick's name is that works.
Is that understood?
And they're all like, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. And Joaquin Phoenix is like,
I'm a fucking grown man.
I'm hitting that ass.
Yeah.
bro.
And then they look out the pizza shop and they see Shyamalan getting in his truck
And
leaving.
they can't believe that this brown piece of shit lives in their town.
Yeah.
Everyone stops and takes notice, and they're like, go home, you fucking Haji. Get the fuck out of here.
Yep, exactly. And
White pride don't wipe. You see the flag?
Mm-hmm.
You think you can take down the towers and that's going to break our spirit? Hell no. And he's like, I'm from India. This is crazy. And you're like, yeah, it's all the same. It's all the same.
that's some small town folk for you there, bud.
Fucking nonsense.
Yeah. And then Morgan is like, is that the guy?
And they're like, yeah.
And Bo's like, who is he? So obviously there hasn't been too much talk about, what's going on. We don't really know as the viewers yet, like what this is all
I
leading
knew
to.
immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, David's good.
I assume you did too. Maybe not when you saw the movie. You might have been very young.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably. But Morgan, we don't see, I don't think we see him like initially bring it with him, but we end up seeing that he's just got this baby walkie monitor like on him the entire time. And basically they're pulling up back home and the walkie just starts making like a little bit of like cricking noises, like a little bit of like weird noises. And Morgan immediately is like, "Do you guys hear it? You guys heard that? Everyone stop." And Phoenix goes on this fucking very fucked up rant about, how this is what virgin nerds do to create some excitement in their lives, and they make secret societies so other virgin nerds can join, and it's all just one big hoax. It's like,
I really don't think he says the word virgin.
oh, he did. He said virgin.
No, they're kids. He says can't have a girlfriend.
I swear to God, he said virgin.
He's talking to children. I don't think he says virgin. He's like, these nerds who can't even get a girlfriend get other nerds who can't get a girlfriend. I'm almost positive he does not use the word virgin to talk to his 4 and 8-year-old niece and nephew. He does not say virgin.
No, I'm telling you, he does. He's very upset. He's very upset
Guess what?
because he doesn't
Guess
get laid.
what?
Huh.
We're pausing this fucking thing. We're finding out if he says virgin.
Okay.
Guys, we'll be right back. And we're back.
We're back.
Hey, Derek Jeter. Fuck you.
Ah.
Yeah, he didn't say virgin because you can't talk that way to your young nephew. The kid's like 8 years old. You can't be like, these fucking virgins out there, they got nothing better to do. Yeah, he said it's nerds who've never had girlfriends.
Yeah. Virgins, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So like, I assume they're
No, yeah.
virgins, or like how you lost your virginity very young. Because Braden lost it when he was 6 to his uncle. And like when like we were talking about losing our virginity and stuff, he's like, man, I lost that shit a long time ago.
Fucking nerds.
Not a fucking loser like you. Haven't had a girlfriend yet, but I lost that virginity.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, they got to learn the hard way. But yeah, he's like, it's all a fucking hoax. Mel's like, it's fucking broken. And basically there's just like a little bit back and forth as to whether or not this thing actually works or not. And Morgan's trying to convince him, no, this is fucking working. And the moment they step out the car, there's like another screech of like alien noise. And they're like, freeze, everyone stop. And Bo's like, I heard it, because of course Bo did, you know. Bo knows what alien voices sound like. But he asks like, hey, Uncle fucking Phoenix, did you hear it? And then he's kind of timid and basically tells him like, hey, the higher we put this thing, the more signal we're going to get to be able to hear the voices. And so Joaquin Phoenix asks Mel Gibson to pass it to him. And when
so Joaquin Phoenix asked Mel Gibson if he could go to the next time over in search of new medicines and technologies because he's scared. And,
That's a good point.
and like he was scared when you said timid. This is immediately where I went. I was like, fucking village, you timid little bitch. He's like, I want to go to the next town over
Yeah.
in search of new medicines,
Well, this is before.
so the children don't die anymore.
This is before the village. So
Yeah, it's
Shyamalan
years
was
before. This
shooting
guy.
it, and he was just like, oh man,
This is fucking guy.
I'm gonna use this dude for
Yeah.
the.
He's like, oh, it's perfect.
Yeah. So once when they reach over to grab it, they both have their hands on it, and it just sparks up some loud alien voices. And then that's when Morgan's like, freeze, don't move. And he crawls up on the fucking car and grabs it. And then as he's fucking crawling up, Bose tries to crawl up, and Mel Gibson's like, no, Bo, come on. But no, sure enough, she still climbs up the car. And he just puts it up as high as he can. You know, at this point, you might as well just crawl on the fucking roof of the house. But, you know, he's like putting it up in the air, and you could just distinctly hear two alien voices. Some just weird shit. That's what it sounded like. Just like that. Not really, but some weird...
Sounded nothing like that, but
some weird fucking... Yeah, that's my alien. Hope you guys like it. But yeah, so now they're kind of like freaked out. And then what happens next, David?
signal goes out.
Yeah, that's right. The signal does go out.
Yeah.
Then Mel goes to bring Isabella, his dog, some water, and she is barking.
That dog also had a fork just stabbed through her heart. And
Yeah,
he's like, oh man, this dog must have. I feel really bad for Morgan. He has to keep doing this to the dog.
But she's freaking out, and she's just like freaking out towards the crop field. And Mel like stops for a second, looks at the crop field, and then says to Isabel, the dog, "You're going to feel really silly when this turns out to be all just make-believe." Says that to his dog.
Yeah.
And then he goes and grabs a flashlight and walks into the crop field, which is fantastic because it's just building up the suspense. All we're hearing is crops fucking being pushed out the way. And he ends up in the middle of one of the crop fields. And kind of goes on a little rant.
He's
and he
fucking yelling
Yeah.
into the open.
Yeah. He's like, "You're wasting your time here. I'm not going to report this or anything that you do to my crops to anyone. You're not going to get famous."
So he's yelling. He's like, I'm not going to call the news. I'm not going to the TV. No one's going to hear about this. Wasting your time. I ain't making nobody famous.
And what I like a lot about what this movie does is the movie's called Signs. And Signs isn't just about crop circles. It's about also kind of belief in God and the signs that God might make.
And there was the sign that said, all you long-haired freaky people need not apply.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a sign we all need.
Yeah, so I tucked my hair up under my hat, and I went in to ask him why. And then he was like, "You got short hair, clearly, because you got the hat on. I don't see any long hair. You got short hair. Like, why do you care about the sign? Of course I would hire you." And then I took the hat off, and my long hair went down, and I went, "Huh, imagine that, me working for you."
Imagine that. What is that from?
The song Sides everywhere, the sides. One of the signs is side says, "All you long-haired freaky people need not apply." For no fucking sign has ever said that.
It says a long
That's a
sign.
bananas thing. All you long-haired freaky people need not apply. That sign doesn't exist.
Maybe you need to make that sign, start selling them.
I mean, so here's the thing, that sign does exist now. Prior to that song being written, that song did not exist.
Yeah.
Now, people probably got it in their fucking bedrooms and shit.
point,
Like,
yeah.
all you long-haired freaky people need that. And the guy just put his hair up and just put a hat on. And then went in and he's like, "What you got against long-haired freaky people?" And he's like, "Well, son, clearly I don't see any long hair. Clearly, you're a fine young man. Of course, you would get a job here." And he's like, "Oh, is that so?"
Whips the hair out.
Yeah, fucking nonsense.
Wow.
A fucking nonsense song. Go on with the movie.
I need to watch that music video. But so
I bet it's amazing.
yeah. So he's standing in the crop circle, and he's saying this as a way for him to try and like believe that this isn't aliens. Like the news is telling him so, his family's telling him so. The only person that's not saying it is this fucking woman cop who's got a thing about women. There's no way it could be some alien.
It's fucking lady cop badge and everything.
It's got to be a woman. And you're seeing his
And she finds out it's alien. She's like, "Well, it's woman alien."
It's got to be a woman alien, right? Like those are tits, right?
They have genders.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, he's trying to like kind of reconcile in his head that there's no way that this is aliens, you know? Like he's trying to go over this battle he's fucking having with himself. Like you could see that there's so much what's the word I'm looking for? Like in his face. Once when he goes through his little rant and there's no reply and it's just super silent, you could just tell like he gets scared. He's like, "Oh fuck, this probably is real and I should get the fuck out of there." So as he kind of like starts to leave, he's like he finds himself down like an alleyway in the crops, and he is like backed up with his back to like one of the crop fields, and he starts hearing.
And then he sees like a big spotlight come on, and he realizes there's a Peterbilt 347 parked over there, and it's fucking Rusty Nail, and he starts playing the music really loud.
Candy cane.
And he goes, and then he gets the girl who Steve Zahn and Paul Walker, they picked her up at the college, and but he has the roommate, and then he gets the friend too.
And somehow
That is what Rusty Nail does.
yeah.
That is what he does.
Come to find out, Rusty Nail's been making the crop circles this whole time.
Whole time. It's always been Rusty
He's
Nail.
just been fucking doing donuts. And that's how
always
he's
been
making
Rusty Nails.
Because they were like, the cop and him were going over, and they're like, this is too perfectly done to be done by hand.
It had to be Rusty
It
Nails.
had to be Rusty Nails, man. Come on.
Had to.
Oh, man. Have they not seen that movie?
So Mel Gibson, he's getting scared and spooked, and then he sees...
Well, he hears an alien voice, and then he drops his flashlight, picks it back up, turns the light on, and he sees a nice long leg by the alien.
Yeah,
I mean, that thing
and
was
like
nice.
just quickly, and then it cuts in the corner and runs.
And he takes off. I'm like, God damn,
Gets the fuck
Mel
out
still
of
got
there.
some speed. I mean, that's
Of course he does.
Yeah, it's like a 5 flat and a 40,
There you go.
maybe even
And,
better.
and you can't teach speed.
You can't. But he ends up walking back into his house in like the most just like, I can't believe this. My whole life is shattered. And sits down, and as he's sitting down, Joaquin's chilling. Bo and Morgan are like throwing bubbles at each other while doing the dishes. And then finally he's like, okay.
So he says nothing. He sits down, and the kids realize, like, oh, he's
No, yeah.
He's bringing a weird energy.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
then they walk over to him
and then
he's-
Joaquin Phoenix follows suit, and they're like, "Oh, what happened to you?"
Yeah, and he's like, "Okay, it's time to turn on the TV." They turn on the TV, and this is a actual reference to the Phoenix Lights. So if you guys have ever seen any images or videos, basically a series of events happen over a couple days where the same lights would come on at night in the sky. That was basically making like a perfect triangle. There was like, I don't know, fucking 4 lights on each side, and they went in like a diagonal on each side, basically making like a triangle. But you couldn't make out like the fucking shape of the ship, other than the lights in the sky. But they would be there like for hours over multiple nights in Phoenix, Arizona, and you could also see them, I guess, from Nevada. But they're known as the Phoenix Lights, and this looks like identical to that. You see this on the news. And they're talking about how these lights have now shown up in multiple different countries, hundreds of different areas over the globe, and everyone's like freaking out.
But they're not real.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a UFO, David?
No, those don't exist.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a good point.
You haven't either.
Oh, David, don't.
Let's go. Where are we at in the movie?
David, don't
Come
do
on,
this to me.
Find it in your notes.
Let me see. Oh yeah. So as this is happening, Morgan wants to record what's happening on tape and brings over Bo's dance recital, and she's like, no fucking way this is happening. Bo's a 3-year-old girl, so obviously
it's
she's
my
not
dance
Christian.
recital.
Yeah, and he's like, listen, Bo, this is gonna be the future.
Bo's not budging.
Yeah,
Bo's not fucking budging on this.
Yeah. So then Mel's like, go get a different tape, and he's just like sucked into the TV screen. He comes back, and it's Joaquin's tape, and it says swimsuit special. I'm sure that was a great tape.
Yeah.
That they recorded over. But yeah, so he starts recording, and basically they just watch this shit all night. So later, after Bo and Morgan are sleeping, Phoenix says, some people think this is the end of the world, and Mel says, that's true. And Phoenix asks, do you think that could be true? And Mel's like, yeah. And Phoenix says, how could you say that? And Mel's like, I mean, is that not what you wanted to hear? Sorry. Like, do you realize that I'm not a father anymore? Okay.
Reverend. He's still a father.
Yeah. And
You keep taking away his fatherly duties to these kids.
and Phoenix is like, come on, you can't just comfort me here. And Mel says, all right, listen. People break down into 2 groups. When they experience something lucky, group number 1 sees it as more than luck, more than coincidence. They see it as a sign, evidence that there's something up there watching out for them. Group number 2 sees it as just pure luck, just a happy turn of chance. I'm sure the people in group number 2 are looking at those 14 lights in a very suspicious way. For them, the situation is a 50-50. Could be bad, could be good, but deep down, they feel whatever happens, they're on their own. And that fills them with fear. Yeah, there are those people, but there's a whole lot of people in group number 1. When they see those 14 lights, they're looking at a miracle. And deep down, they feel that whatever's going to happen, there will be someone to help them. And that fills them with hope. See, what you have to ask yourself is, what kind of person are you? Are you the kind that sees signs, that sees miracles, or do you believe that people just get lucky? Or look at that question in this way. Is it possible that there are no coincidences? And then the way that Joaquin Phoenix answers this is, one time I was at this party, and I was sitting on the couch with Amanda McKinney, and gives she's hot. She was just sitting there looking beautiful. So I lean in to kiss her, and I realize I have gum in my mouth. So I turn to spit it out, and I put it in a paper cup. I turn back, and Amanda McKinney throws up all over herself. And I knew the moment it happened, it was a miracle. I could have been kissing her when she threw up. It would have scarred me for life. I may have never fucking recovered. I'm a miracle man, and those lights are a miracle. And Mel says, there you go. And Phoenix says, which one are you? And Mel says, are you comforted? And he says, yeah. And Mel says, then what the fuck does it matter?
There we go.
There we go. But that whole interaction was huge for this story, for this movie, because it just shows the way the characters are dealing with the signs, with faith and science, and just kind of, trying to find their place in life and the way that they deal and process these things. And it ends up playing in a bigger picture as the story goes on. And then Mel also tells Joaquin Phoenix that his wife's last words were to swing away. And says, you know why she said that? Because the nerve endings were firing in her head and some random baseball memory came into her head. There is no one watching out for us, Phoenix. We are all on our own. Like, as if he couldn't punch it in enough. He's like, listen, even when my wife was dying, everything she was saying didn't mean a fucking thing. All right? It was just the nerve ending. Some random memory came in her fucking head thinking about you, saying swing away. She had no idea what was going on in that moment. Why? Because there's no one watching out for us. There's no meaning.
There we go.
There's no meaning. There's no one watching out for us. We're alone, dude. And there's aliens fucking attacking us. What the fuck are you going to do about it? And then we end up in a dream that Mel is having, and he's arriving to the accident, basically like replaying what happened in the past. And we see, Officer Caroline, because she's always there. She's the only officer in this fucking county. And she's like, she's not in an ambulance. And he wakes up. This is like long story short. Like he walks up. They talk.
Not really. You made it kind of long, and you didn't say any of the important. You said she's not in an ambulance.
Yeah, that's basically like the most important thing.
She says Ray fell asleep at the wheel and hit her, and he said first thing he asks is Ray okay?
Yeah,
and she smiles and says that's the first thing she asked too.
Yeah,
and then he's like, can I talk to her? Can I go see her in the ambulance? She's like, she's not in an ambulance.
Yeah.
Then he wakes up.
Yeah.
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 Not long story short, she's not in an ambulance, is up. No, so she was hit by a car. She's not in an ambulance means like, yeah, she's fine. She's over there. She's over there just hanging out on the park bench. She's cool.
Yeah. David's right. So then
he's up.
So when he wakes up, like he walks through the house and he sees this like long extension cords all connected, and it's going to the fucking closet, the stair closet, and he opens it up and we find Joaquin Phoenix in the closet, and he's like, well, I wanted to put the TV in here because I think the kids were getting too glued to it. I didn't want them to get like too scared. And
it's like they're kids. I don't want this fucking crazy end of the world news freaking them out.
But he's the one that's like freaked the fuck out, and you could just tell by the way he's like obsessed with this now. And he's like, "Wait, I've been watching this for hours, and they showed that like a few hours ago that this bird it just like was flying through the sky and just hit something, and just fell straight to the ground. Like we think that they're invisible, like the spacecrafts are invisible or something." He's like freaking out, and yeah, I just what. It wasn't like there was much for Mel to do. Mel is like trying to keep his composure. Like at this point now, like everything that like Mel's body language is and everything is just like trying to keep it cool because he doesn't know how to process or think about this, especially since he's not like a holy man anymore. So he is just in the thick of it. But we end up seeing Mel looking out his bedroom window. Once again, we can't hear anything, which is like another, just signals that there's something around. But we do hear like wind chimes, which I love that too. And then we walk into Morgan's room and we find Morgan and Bo wearing what I thought was tinfoil hats, but I guess they're chrome. I don't know. There's a fucking fun fact, David. Do you remember it was a chrome?
It was made of something way more expensive than tinfoil because
they had a
$72 million budget. It's
got to go to something.
You gotta spend money to make money.
Yeah.
Can't use real tinfoil.
And they're reading the alien books that they got from the store. And Mel says, who wrote this book? And Morgan says, scientists who have been persecuted for their beliefs. And Mel says, you mean they're unemployed? And Morgan says, if you're going to make fun of it, then forget it. And Bo chimes in saying, this is serious. And then Mel says, he doesn't know what got into him. He's like, sorry, I don't know what got into me. And Morgan says The writer's name is Dr. Bimbu. And immediately Mel is like, Bimbu? And Morgan says, Dad. And Mel's like, oh, listen, I was just asking his name.
It's like, yeah, but you're fucking tone deaf, all right?
Yeah, exactly. And basically in the book, it says there's two reasons as to why these aliens are visiting us. One, either to make contact in the spirit of exploration, or two, they're hostile and they've used up all the resources on the planet and they're going to harvest ours next. So they are still flipping through the book and they see a house that looks identical to theirs, plus an adult and two children that are just lying on the ground dead as a fucking spaceship is flying off, and the way it's flying off is just leaving the house in flames. Which is also kind of a shout out to Nope. Am I right?
No. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. I wish they would just combine these two movies. That's what I was thinking. I was like, if we could have gotten more like lights in the background, like in the crop circles, like coming down and like the lights fading away, like how we saw on the way, like way, way far away, like in the movie Nope. If we got a little bit more UFO action, if we combine the two a little bit, I feel like we would get the best of both worlds.
I don't think there's anything from this movie that I would want to put into Nope.
I think they did a good job for some things. The score,
Nope.
the pacing. You know, I actually did like the which we'll get to.
You like this movie?
Yeah.
I disagree.
Whoa.
There's nothing from this I'd have put in Nope.
Well,
I'd have put the monkey in this.
that's a good point. Yeah. But Mel gets a call from someone who says "Father," and then hangs up. So like now they're in the house, and Mel gets like ready to leave, and Phoenix asks like, "Where are you gonna go?" And he says, "I'm going to Shyamalan's because I think he just called here." It was like a very like random call, and all he said was "Father," and
he knew it was M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah. So Mel goes to Shyamalan's place, sees it's like a little banged up inside and stuff like that. He's like, "Look,
what do you notice on the mailbox?"
Fuck.
It says he's a veterinarian,
Oh yeah,
which
that's
is why Mel Gibson told his son to
Yeah.
call the regular doctor earlier.
right.
Not the fucking town, because the guy who killed his fucking wife
Yep.
is the town vet. And he's
Yeah.
like, I'm not using that fucking Haji.
Yeah.
All right?
I don't really want to be around this guy that fucking killed my wife. But he goes there and he's like looking at the place and it's a little banged up, and like he gets fully around the house basically before he like finally turns around to see Shyamalan in his truck, and he's about to leave. And he like walks up to the truck, and it's a pretty weird conversation because Shyamalan kind of goes from like,
His truck is packed,
Yeah.
too. All of his shit is in there.
yeah, and he's not looking at
And he's blood all over the side of his body and doesn't really get addressed.
Yeah, exactly, like at all. So Shyamalan says, I wrote your number down to call you, and it's been sitting next to the phone for 6 months, and once I knew it was in the house, I couldn't think of anyone else to call besides you. Long beat. They take long beats in this. I've never fallen asleep while driving before, and there was no one in either direction, and if I would have fallen asleep then, I would have ended up in a ditch with a headache. It had to be at that right moment, that 10 to 15 seconds while I passed her walking. And Mel is just like, listen, you could stop it. He's just not stop.
Yeah, he's like, dude, stop. I don't want to fucking hear this.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah. And he just keeps going. He's like, it's like it was meant to be. I guess if this is the end of the world, I'm screwed, right? And people who kill reverend wives aren't exactly ushered to the front of the line in heaven. And then Mel says, where are you going? And he says, to the lake. The way I see it, this place is full of crops and dust, and I don't think they like water. It can't be much worse than here. And then Mel's like, did you see something? Like, what the fuck are you saying? You're speaking in riddles right now,
Yeah.
bro. You're going back and forth from aliens to fucking killing my wife. And then Shyamalan goes, I know what I've done to you and made you question your faith. I am truly sorry for what I have done to you and yours. And then he just like takes off.
Nope. don't open my pantry.
Oh yeah, that's
I
right. that's right.
trapped one of them in there.
Yeah, huge.
And then he drives off.
Yeah, and then he drives off.
The only important part of this whole interaction is I trapped a fucking alien in my pantry.
Yeah.
I'm out. And guys, that's a good cliffhanger for us to take a quick break. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
And we're back. Hey, Derek Cheater. Fuck you.
Yeah. Fuck you, dude. So we come back and I mean, dude, this is one of my favorite scenes. And what's funny is, fun fact, this is apparently, I don't even know how someone graded or said this, but this is like in the fun fact that I read, that this is apparently one of the scariest scenes in cinema history.
The pantry?
Well, no. What happens right before the pantry? So when Shyamalan peels off, we see that Mel's going to go back inside. And right as he goes back inside, we cut to Joaquin Phoenix, and he's in the stairway closet, and he's watching the TV, and we get this like breaking news. Yeah, this is apparently one of the scariest fucking scenes in like cinema history. I didn't say it. IMDb said it, bro. I don't even know how they come about that.
It's not.
I thought it was kind of scary when I was young, but not the. I wouldn't think it would ever be the scariest. I think something like from like actual scary movie,
something that might scare you as an adult would be.
Yeah.
Not you watch this and you're like, oh, that's cool.
No, yeah, exactly. I think the way they just play it up, I think it was more of like the suspense.
So they're at a fucking Portuguese birthday party. It's a bunch of little kids.
Yeah.
And like they're all screaming and they're videotaping out the window and they're screaming and then the kids run to another window and they're screaming like behind there. Oh my god, it's behind there. And it's drawn out and then an alien like walks across.
Like really quickly and everyone starts screaming.
Scariest scene in movie history.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's fucking bananas.
I will say they get you hyped about it. Like you're not even as scared about it. You're more like hyped about it because the way that the emergency, the breaking news, and she's like, this may be disturbing for some of you, like beware. And
you know what would have been scary? If it like popped up in the window and grabbed a kid.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Start sucking the fucking organs out the baby or some shit.
Sort of walked.
Can I be on the street?
Yeah, hey, just walking by, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to scare anybody.
Can you imagine if they weren't hostile either? And he's like, dude, I was just trying to say hi. Like, I was just trying to...
Take it easy.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Everyone's freaking out.
Yeah.
So that happens, and we finally get to see the alien. They kind of, like, pause for a second. They get, like, almost like a close-up.
Joaquin Phoenix is going fucking nuts in the closet.
He's
literally fucking losing.
Yeah, he can't believe it. He fucking gets up closer and he's like, "Oh my fucking god, the aliens are real!" So now, it's solidified. Like it could have, the lights could have been something. Now it's like, oh no, there's for sure fucking aliens without a doubt. Then we pop back to Mel Gibson and he's in the kitchen. And Mel Gibson is, I love the way he's so introspective and like awkward about like everything that he does in this movie because he comes in
life.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, totally. And he comes in and he sees that there's like a shadow moving from like underneath the door because there's like light shining in, which that makes me, we don't see inside this pantry at all, not to spoil anything, but where's the light coming from? The alien can travel, fucking galaxies and shit, but you can't get out of like a window or something. Like where's the light coming through in this pantry? Because it's like shining down. We see the shadow of the alien moving in the pantry.
A light bulb.
You think like a light, but it looked like it was, but like the way it was like, it doesn't look like a light that's like straight down. It looks like a light is coming through.
It could be on the wall.
I guess.
Hey.
It looks daylight.
Keep talking.
It looks daylight. I get where David's going with this, but I feel like it's like a daylight looking thing. And no, I know.
Guys, I just opened the door to Braden's pantry.
It's not a pantry.
The fucking closet there in his kitchen that he puts shoes and shit in. The light is not on the ceiling. The light is on the wall. It's coming from a different angle. How is this fucking with you, dude?
Well, it's like it looks daylight.
I bet you it is it looks like a light. It looks like a fucking light bulb is in there. Out of your mind.
I think it looks like
out
daylight.
of your mind. You're wrong. You're just wrong. It's
Okay.
a light bulb in the pantry.
Okay. I mean, it looks like daylight. So that's why I'm like, what the fuck? How can this thing not get out? But I guess it can't. I guess it has trouble with, like Shyamalan said,
It doesn't look like
with
daylight.
with pantry doors. Yeah, I think it looks daylight.
Looks like a light bulb.
Okay. And Mel Gibson walks in and he's like, we know you're in there. We know what you did. We took your buddies down in the paddy wagon. The paddy wagon? He like says to himself, he like stop. He's like, I'm so fucking bad at this. I'm with the cops. I'm a cop. And we took your boys down in the paddy wagon. The fucking paddy wagon.
That's my favorite is that he's like, I'm with the cops. You know what? I'm a cop.
Yeah.
Come to think of it.
Now listen, I'll give you the same deal I gave your boys, all right? You just you come out and you tell us, it's what's going on, and we'll give you the same deal as your boys. He's like, fuck. No reply. Yeah, that's not working. All right, well, you know what? Let me look around. Okay, there's a big kitchen knife. Let me grab that in a way where it makes a lot of noise. And I'm going to put it underneath. I'm going to see if I can see a reflection. Doesn't see anything. And then he's like, you know what? I'm a little timid and fuck this. And like goes to like walk away. Stops down the hall. And he's like, man, I'm being a fucking pussy. Come on. Grow some balls. You can just see it. He doesn't say this, but he's just like, let me fucking do this. Walks back over with, you could tell, with like a mission on his mind. Grabs the same knife. And the moment he gets down on the floor, we just see an alien fucking hand pop out and tries to grab him. And he fucking flips out, hits his head on something. I don't even know what it is. Grabs the knife and just chops the fucking 2 fingers off.
This was scarier
Yeah.
than the scariest scene in cinema history.
Yeah.
That wasn't even the scariest scene in this fucking movie.
How long do you think it took them to shoot the pantry scene?
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Took them 3 weeks.
Are you kidding me?
I swear to God.
That's bananas.
Took them 3 weeks to shoot that scene.
It's bananas. It
Of
is-
Mel Gibson
it
being
is
like,
just Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
that is
and a
all
door.
on his shoulders. If it took him 3 weeks, that means Mel Gibson was just fucking it up.
Yeah.
For 3 weeks.
the paddy wagon, God, like, that was probably a mess up.
That's why it cost $72 million to make this.
Shyamalan was like, you can't stop saying paddy wagon?
because 3 weeks.
Are you fucking kidding me?
for Mel Gibson to talk to a door?
Yeah. So he cuts the fucking fingers off of this alien hand. He freaks the fuck out and he goes home. When he gets home, he just sees Bo, Morgan, and Joaquin all sitting on the couch with the chrome, not tinfoil, with the chrome hats. They're supposed to be like the tinfoil
they're
alien
tinfoil hats,
Yeah.
but they're made out of chrome.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big deal. And he is just out of, you could just tell. He's like, man, what the fuck do I do? Like, it's like the kitchen scene all over again, but now they're in the living room. And tells him that he saw one in the pantry at Shyamalan's house and that he heard this theory that they don't like water. Immediately, Morgan's like, bullshit. That was not in the extraterrestrial book by Dr. Bimbu. You're full of fucking shit. He's like, well, listen, you can call me on the bluff. I don't care. But we need to make a vote because I don't think we should stay here. So whoever is in vote to stay here, raise your hand. Well, actually, first he says, whoever's in wants to vote to go to the lake, raise your hand. He raises his hand. Bo raises her hand. So now it's like a 2-2. And he's like, all right, well, everyone who's in favor of staying here, and then obviously Morgan and Joaquin. But he's like, all right, well, my vote counts for 2. So, and then instantly Morgan's like, nah, that's bullshit.
Morgan does cuss. He goes, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll parenting for 2. It's 2.
And then Bo's like, well, I want to change my vote now. I'm changing to stay here. And
You don't change votes. No one changes votes.
you can't fucking do that.
This is my house. You can't change your fucking votes.
And then no one changes their vote. So he
I'm
just,
only dialing it up a little bit.
yeah. And then he finally just sits down and he's just like, all right, let's board up all the windows.
And they're like, how do you know? And he's like, it couldn't get through a pantry door. I assume if we board up the windows, that'll be solid.
Mm-hmm. We I mean, it doesn't really matter, but we see Joaquin Phoenix go outside and just kind of stare and like throw a fucking rock at the the crop field. Nothing happens, but you're just like, man, that pacing. I'm just the suspense. It's building up. And this is when shit gets kind of weird.
Hey, we still recording?
Yeah. Why, you wanted me to check? Man, right? Can you imagine all that time without recording? It would be nutty. So basically, they start like boarding up the house, and Mel is just distraught, and he just like cannot almost come to grips with like what's happening. So you kind of start to see him and his character just start to break down a little bit as time goes on. Like not right this second, but you could see he's very spaced out, and they're talking about how like the majority of the house is boarded up, but we don't have enough boards for all the doors. And he's like, okay, well, we're gonna stay in the living room tonight, so we're not gonna do like all the windows upstairs. We're gonna board the bedroom doors, and we're gonna board everything else downstairs. And then Mel, is like, what do you guys want to eat tonight? It's like this whole thing about like what
Bo wants spaghetti.
Yeah.
Morgan wants French toast. Joaquin Phoenix wants teriyaki chicken. Mel
Good
Gibson
choice.
wants a cheeseburger with bacon. Extra bacon. So they go,
He's losing his fucking mind. While this is happening.
Morgan wants French toast and mashed potatoes.
Good choice.
And he's happy with all of the choices everyone makes.
And we cut to them at the dinner table. We see this fucking pan shot showing all of the pots and pans that they used.
They made all of that stuff.
Yeah. By scratch. That's the way it looks. Like it wasn't like, oh, we throw some fucking mashed potatoes in the oven or like the microwave. It was like, oh, we got to make this shit from scratch.
They don't own a microwave.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone is how would you say? Like distraught themselves too, because no one's eating.
No one's eating, and Morgan says, should we say grace? And Mel Gibson says, no, we're not praying. We don't say grace. I'm not saying grace. And the kids are like, oh, what? What's going on? He's like, I'm not spending one more minute praying.
And then
It's done nothing. I'm not spending one more fucking minute of my life praying.
Bo starts crying.
This is my favorite part of this movie. Bo's crying. Morgan's crying.
Morgan's like, you're making her cry.
He goes, stop crying. Stop crying. He's like, all right, you know what? You guys aren't going to eat?
I'll eat something from all your plates.
He starts taking all. He's going fucking nuts. This is the only part of this movie where I was at all invested. I'm going to be completely honest. This is the only part of this movie where I was like, all right, this is pretty great.
This is great.
This is pretty great.
Mel's supposed to be
Mel
protecting
Gibson's
his family,
going
and
nuts
instead
right now.
he's fucking
He's
losing
like,
his
I'll
mind.
eat all the food. He's eating mashed potatoes and French toast and
That was
spaghetti.
a big bite. Can you
Oh,
imagine if
he's
he
going
choked right
into it.
there, like mid-take, and he's like, oh, God, it's too big.
He's doing all that, and then he starts sobbing, and both of his kids come over and they hug, and then he grabs Joaquin Phoenix and pulls him in for a hug.
And they're just fucking everyone's crying.
Crazy. It was such like a fun, like the kids were excited, like, oh, Dad's letting us eat whatever. Like this is gonna be a fun dinner. And then he just fucking lost it at the dinner table.
And I guess all they needed was 3 seconds of crying together, because immediately Morgan brings this shit everywhere. He's got the baby walkie at the dinner table, and as they're all fucking crying and hugging, it goes.
Aliens needed to know that the family, that they were a unit. They didn't. The aliens didn't want. Don't do your fucking noises. The aliens didn't want to
need to know.
attack a divided family. They wanted it to be fair. They wanted that family at 100%.
Oh, now you're unified?
So like now they're unified. Now we're going in. Now it's fair.
We're still here, motherfuckers. We gave you 3 seconds. How do you feel now? Mal's like, I'm good. Let's keep boarding shit up. And actually, they don't do that. They just basically, they're like, now it's time. The reason why they know it's time is because Isabella is still outside and she's barking up a fucking storm. And they're just listening to her bark up a storm. And what is
they
Morgan?
accept that Isabel's dead.
Yeah, because
They
Morgan's
meant to-
like,
they meant to put her in the garage and they didn't.
yeah. Can you imagine that fuck up? You just left this dog that's just been with you by your side for 10
I mean,
years.
it's better than just fucking murdering the dog and being like, oh, I gave it to another family.
It fell on me.
It got hit by a truck.
It fell on me. Oh my God. But yeah, so the dog just
Dog ruined my pool table. I had to fucking kill it.
Yeah, that's right. It's a good pool table. But you just hear this dog get murked. You don't know, exactly what or how. And then you start hearing wind chimes. I love the actual use of sounds that they do to build the suspense in this movie. I think that's something they do very, very well. Other than just the score. I mean, James Howard, fucking phenomenal. But he's helping with all these little sounds, too. So the sound effects, great fucking job. Because then you also hear some pounding on the wall. You hear, or you see as well, some shadows move by the windows, even though a lot of the windows are boarded up. And they're just standing. They're just like, oh, this is time. Like, you could tell Mel Gibson, too, is like anticipating that this is exactly what was going to happen. They're like, oh, they're checking for a way to come in. And then once the shit starts to hit the fan, Mel loses it in a different way. He starts going on this like very like, which come to find out, fun fact, what I'm about to tell you is actually the stories of Shyamalan's actual kids. So he goes into, that was one of the fun facts. Shyamalan had to throw in his personal shit in here. So he starts telling Bo, he's like, Bo.
So let's set the table a little bit better.
Okay.
It's going like you hear aliens
It's going
like breaking
0
into
to
the house.
100 really
Joaquin
quick.
Phoenix is like, hey, this is going on. He's like, hey, not now, Joaquin.
Yeah.
All right? Not now. I need to tell Bo this.
Because this is what's most important. Bo, when you first came out the mother's womb, you just came out, you didn't make a noise. Your eyes were so big. You looked all over the room. Literally everyone in the room gasped. They gasped. Your eyes were so beautiful. And you looked up right at me, and I swear you smiled. They say kids can't smile that young, but you smiled. And Joaquin's like, all right, they're upstairs. They broke into the room.
So they go to another room and they start moving. They start doing stuff. And then like it's getting louder. The aliens are doing more. And then Mel Gibson stops and he's like, hey, Joaquin. Like, guys, like 2 minutes have like legitimately passed. And he goes, well, hey, Joaquin, stop, all right? This is more important.
Yeah. Morgan, now for you, son. When you came out the womb, I wasn't even there. I swear to God, that was like the first thing he says. I wasn't even there. I don't know where the fuck I was. I wasn't around, bud. But what I heard is that your mom said when you came out the womb, you were throwing a fit. You were the fucking worst. No, but she always talked about how she saw you in her dreams, and she was like, I always pictured Morgan like this baby, and when the baby was finally in my arms, and in the mom speaking now, she said, you were just like you pictured in my dreams. And there's like aliens still like in the house. And one thing I forgot to say too is when they were boarding up the upstairs, like because now they're downstairs in the living room, when they boarded the upstairs doors, they put the boards on the outside. So like the door can just like easily open, and there's just like some boards in the way. Like it wasn't like nailing the door shut to the wall.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, okay, yeah. They have trouble with pantry doors. I'm sure they could just fucking front kick that fucking shit through though.
Yeah. Like that's. I don't think it's very practical.
Yeah, at all. Yeah, it was kind of silly. And another thing is right before they boarded up the upstairs doors, he once again for like the last time looked out to the crop field and just didn't hear a fucking thing until the dog. Just showed more that there's no crickets or birds around because they don't want to be around the fucking aliens.
So they go down into the basement.
Yeah, now they're in the fucking basement, and this part always throws me off in the movie.
And he goes, Joaquin Phoenix, when you came out of mom's womb. I'm joking. He didn't really.
Because you're my brother.
Be great. It was going crazy. He's like, all right, now one for you, but because I'm a lot older than you, I got your birth story too. You thought I was leaving you out, didn't you? You thought I was gonna leave you out. You felt some FOMO there.
Yeah. Don't worry, big guy. I got you. So what the fuck was I going to say? So when they go down in the basement, this what always throws me off. Mel Gibson, he walks down the stairs with this posture. Like no one's going to fuck with me, dude. Like he's like trotting down the stairs, like chest high, sternum high, flopping his feet down, not like holding on the rail. It was so like, I run the fucking show, dude. I am the father. I'm the reverend, bitch. Take my fucking word.
I noticed that too, and I was like, it's bananas the way he's walking down there.
2 seconds ago, he was like, he has had the craziest character arc within like 10 minutes of a movie I mean, not ever seen. I mean, come on, let's go back to Suck This. That I was up there. But he went from losing his mind to like being in love with his family to like over the top fucking confidence that he's gonna beat some fucking alien ass. Because he gets down there and they like lock the door. They didn't lock the door because I guess it doesn't have a lock. And this alien, it's within seconds. He trots down the fucking stairs like it's nobody's business. And within seconds, this alien's on the doorknob and he's holding it. And he's like, now all of a sudden he's like almost praying. He's like, dear fucking God. And then he's like yelling to Joaquin.
No, he just says, I'm not ready.
Yeah. But
Nothing else.
But he's having
He
like
just
a
goes-
holy
he just goes,
moment kind
"I'm
of
not-
thing.
I'm not ready.
Yeah. You hear that, God? I'm not ready.
That would have been better.
Yeah.
That would have been better. He's just, I'm not ready.
So then he like tells like Joaquin to pass him something to like wedge the door shut. And he gives him
Real quick. Before that, Joaquin Phoenix was trying to turn on the radio to see if it's, and Mel Gibson goes, any luck? He's like, nah, I'm trying to see what's going on outside of here. And the kid says, so he mentioned right away when they got down there, he's like, oh shit, we forgot our tinfoil hats.
yeah.
He mentioned it immediately.
They're gonna read our thoughts.
And he's like, they're going to be able to read our thoughts. And the kid goes, I mean, hopefully they're doing better than us. We don't even have hats.
That was it there.
It's just like that. We don't even have hats.
Come on.
Dead serious. Like, we're fucked down here.
Dude, what happened to the fucking chrome hats?
We don't even have our fucking hats down here. We are fucked. Hopefully they're doing better than us.
And the one thing they can find to wedge this door shut is like the only thing that they really truly need to defend themselves. And it was like a pickaxe. Right? It was like a big pickaxe thing.
It was axe.
Yeah. With like a
axe with a pickaxe
Yeah.
on the end. It looked like regular axe one side, pickaxe on the other side.
You're fucking some aliens up.
You're fucking ready.
Yeah, and for some reason, aliens can travel fucking galaxies, but they don't use weapons. And that was, I think, something that was said at one point. They're like, hand-to-hand combat.
The kid read it.
yeah. That's
And
right,
he
from the book.
said they'd come down and do hand-to-hand combat because they know if they use their technology
It would lead us to a nuclear holocaust, yeah.
and the planet would be fucking useless to them at that point.
Yeah.
Like, if we destroy the planet, they don't... What the fuck did they come down here for?
Yeah. And so there's a struggle with the door. And right as Joaquin Phoenix gets the pickaxe, he's so excited to give this to his brother that he just breaks the one light bulb that's in this fucking basement. And I'm like, oh, how convenient.
I got it!
yeah. I get
just fucking swinging the axe around. I got it right here! Catch it! Catch it!
Yeah. Breaks it. Now they can't see shit. And then you hear like a bunch of just shit happening in the background. And finally, Morgan gets a flashlight and he turns it on.
And Joaquin Phoenix is sticking his penis into Bo's mouth. And he's like, just fucking go with it. Just fucking go with it. And Morgan's like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, shit. Hey, guys, what's going on with those aliens?
Yeah, but yeah, the aliens, right?
Yeah, this is crazy times we're living in with all those aliens trying to get us. Right? Right, guys? Aliens are scary.
Oh, my God. And they're just playing up with this flashlight
Real quick, because Braden just pulled up a still frame of the movie. Morgan does not try to be useful with the flashlight initially. He gets it in like as if he's gonna tell a spooky story. He gets it and just for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Just holds it under his chin.
Where are the aliens at?
like not really being helpful with it.
I would love if Mel Gibson was like, well, I don't fucking know because I can't see.
Yeah. Give me a flashlight.
But he points the flashlight and he sees Mel and Joaquin just trying with all their might to keep the door closed. And they're like, wait, where's Bo? And then it becomes suspenseful as fuck. They're like, where's Bo? Where's Bo? And he's like shining the flashlight. And then Bo's just like in one of the corners. She's like, and just flash it on her. And she's like, I'm safe.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm right here.
We're like, oh.
Yeah. What
Like-
the fuck?
Yeah, like he totally
Give me something.
Yeah.
Give me something there. She's just like, she just like, took a step back. She's like, oh, things are getting a little
she
intense.
was dead
I'm gonna...
silent until
Yeah.
the flashlight
Where's
was
Bo?
like,
Where's Bo? She's right there. And like,
she's
good.
like, but
And I'm-
and, like she wasn't scared. She's like, yeah, I'm right here.
she's like, I'm right here. I'm fine. Don't worry.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, good.
Yeah. It was fucking, I actually, there's certain parts in this movie I just find like
Ridiculous.
They're trying to be funny. Like they got to be trying to be
They
funny.
were not trying to be funny. Nothing in this scene. M. Night Shyamalan, there's one time in this movie he was trying to be funny.
The next thing that happens, he had to be trying to be funny. So what happens next is
The only thing where he's trying to be funny, twice.
they're like,
When they're running around the house and the cussing thing, obviously that was like
I'm
he's
insane
like,
with
Tom-
anger.
Yeah, like he knew that was gonna be funny. That's what he's going for. And the girl with her when they went to town,
yeah,
like most of the shit that happened when they were in town.
yeah. So now they're like in this basement. And Mel Gibson's like, they used to, what the fuck was it? Do something with like coal or something.
Coal,
yeah.
and there should be a fucking coal vent down
yeah.
there.
So they're looking for the coal vent because they don't want the aliens to get in, because they're like,
You know, everyone's
wait,
got a coal vent.
because they're like, wait, they're not trying to get in anymore. They're trying to distract us with sounds. So then they start.
So he acknowledged, he's like, they're just like, they're not trying to open the door. They're
still banging on the door.
They just keep banging on it.
If I'm the human, I'd be like, hey, I know what the fuck you're doing, dude. I know you're right there just banging on the door, bro.
You don't want to tip them off.
True. But they kind of did anyway because they said it. They just didn't say it like that loud, I guess.
And they don't have their hats and they're thinking.
But they read the brain, they could read. They're telepathic, dude. So they're like, all right, we got to look for this vent. So and then they go exactly in a circle around this fucking basement with the flashlight, just shining the light. Like, dude, if you're in a flashlight in pitch darkness, you're going like this, fucking like trying to see everything as quick as you can.
Yeah.
You're not like taking your time going like
They
foot by
both-
foot.
Joaquin Phoenix and Mel Gibson each have a flashlight, and they did a complete circle around the perimeter of the basement until they met in the middle where the fucking thing was.
Where Morgan just, he was the extraterrestrial expert up until this point, is just sitting right by the shaft, the fucking vent, and
I mean, he's still the extraterrestrial expert. He's just not the coal vent expert.
I don't know. I think
He doesn't
we
know
brought
enough
this up.
about coal vents.
That's right. And I don't know if we brought this up earlier, but they come to find out that these aliens can.
If you're gonna say what I think you're gonna say, I don't think we know that yet.
I thought they knew it before this.
I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, we knew all this shit.
Yeah. So they can like change color to like their surroundings. So they found that out because the alien that we saw in the video was green. It was next to a bush. We see that at night the alien was black because it was pitch black out. And this one we come to find out there's a fucking hand hanging out of the vent that it looks identical to the vent itself, which is like black and gray, and it just. This is very poorly done, but it swings this bullshit fake hand onto
much like a lot of this fucking movie.
$75 million. They couldn't get a better like prosthetic fucking arm to like grab the child, but it grabs Morgan, and Morgan's freaking out. For some reason they drop both fucking flashlights too, to like help. I don't know, maybe place one down that's
because
like shining
it
on
wasn't
them.
in the budget to show us more aliens and stuff.
That struggle. Yeah, totally. Which pissed me off.
This is what I was talking about. Like, whenever there's cool shit, they show a flashlight on the ground instead of the cool shit.
Well, I get to like trying to not show to build that suspense until later in the film, but we're at the point where you need to be. We're
later in the film.
We need to be showing that struggle. So they obviously get Morgan away from the alien, and we see this is the part where they're trying to be funny. Joaquin is piling up as many sandbags and shit as possible in front of the vent. And the last thing he sees is a little fucking canned food, and he puts it on top.
Okay.
And he just like sits back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on. This is like a
Morgan, when he murdered the dog earlier,
yeah.
he had an inhaler.
Yep.
I don't think we said that.
I don't think we said that. Yeah.
And he was like breathing heavy, and he hit his inhaler.
Mm-hmm. So now we see Morgan is just laying down basically on top of Mel Gibson, and Mel is just trying to comfort his breathing because he doesn't have his inhaler.
And he said he doesn't have his medicine. We
Yeah.
left his fucking medicine up there.
Fuck.
kids.
We forgot to let the dog in the garage. Like, this is our one moment to shine.
Yeah.
And we just let it all go to the food that we made for 3 hours. Like, I mean, how long do you think it took him to make that food?
That nobody fucking ate.
Yeah, no one fucking ate it. But yeah, and long story short, they end up helping Morgan with his breathing.
Just Mel Gibson does.
Just Mel Gibson.
Yeah, Mel Gibson lays there and holds him. He's
And then
like,
they pass out.
It's like,
And-
feel my chest, feel breathing in. We're going to control this. We're going to beat this, buddy. You're stronger than this.
And then they turn off the lights, which this is funny the way they did it too. They did it at a certain beat, as if it's like turning to like the last chapter of the movie. They're like, all right, let's conserve the energy and the lights, so let's turn off the light bulbs or whatever. They turn off the flashlights, and the flashlight turns off, and then it takes 3 beats for the next flashlight to turn off. Almost as if it's like these certain beats to try and
There we go.
get you into
Going
the
into the
last
third
act.
act.
Yeah. And they wake up, and it's Joaquin
Nope.
turning.
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson wakes up to.
He was dreaming though,
Oh yeah,
and he was back at the scene where
yeah. This is the
the accident, and he's talking to the police officer, and she's just explaining to him, hey, your wife, she's pinned up from his truck up to the tree. She's not in any pain, but if we pull it out, she's gonna die. So we're keeping her up there while she's not in pain and just gonna let her die there. This is the last time you're ever gonna speak to your wife.
And he's like,
He's just
"You're
okay.
telling me this is the last time that I'm going to be able to speak to my wife?" And he's like, and she's like, "Yeah."
She's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
So and then
he wakes up.
he wakes up.
To Joaquin putting in a new light bulb, he's like, "Hey, I'm the guy that took out the light bulb. I'm the guy that put in the light bulb. All right,
Look at that.
I found a fucking pack of
The
light
Lord,
bulbs."
the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. All right.
Yeah, there you go. And so they turn on the radio. They hear a radio guy going over about how there's no more. They were using some type of poisonous gas. Many died, but they're nowhere to be found now, as if like they left. They left some injured behind. And long story short, Joaquin and Mel are like, that's enough for me. Let's open the fucking door. Let's go back up. Like you just woke up. You think you would give it like a minute.
Mel Gibson, they're hearing this, and Mel Gibson's like, baby boy here's not doing so well.
True.
Need to get him his medicine, because if he has another attack, he's going to die.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
So they don't all go up. He sends Joaquin to make sure the coast is clear,
Yeah.
and then they go up.
But this is something that's a little weird that they did. When he's going up, out of the boards on like one of the windows or whatever, there's punched out moon and star figures that's shining light through.
It was the moon and the star came through the house.
That's
Yeah, the moon's a lot smaller than we thought.
And I'm like, dude, come on. Like,
So are stars.
what are we doing here? What are aliens just shooting ray guns at fucking...
It's moon and star. And you know, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, give us some
This
decorations.
is all the, like, we saw none of this shit. Not allowed to make an alien movie and show us no real alien shit.
I'm like, why is that a thing? But he's like, yeah, coast is clear. They go up, and
He tells Joaquin to go get baby boy's medicine.
yeah,
And,
he goes and
and
grabs the
EpiPen.
TV. Yep, he goes to grab the TV from
Why does he grab the TV, though? Because the little girl comes out and says, Dad,
Yeah.
on the TV, they're doing this.
they're dancing.
She doesn't say that. And he goes,
Yeah.
They're dancing? She's like, yeah, like this.
Some good dance moves.
And then he goes to the side. He goes, would you like to see that? Would you like to see the people dance like that?
Morgan?
And he says nothing. He just smiles and nods his head. He's like, I'll go get the
Okay.
TV so you can see the people dance.
So then he's rolling the TV over, and as he rolls it in, we see off the reflection of the TV an alien. It's in the fucking room. It's in the living room. And then we also see that he's holding Morgan, and then Joaquin walks into the room, and this is where shit starts to fucking play in like a fictitious kind of way. So we see Joaquin enter the room, and he's just like jaw drop, like, oh my God, there's a fucking alien in front of me. And right as this is happening, Mel goes back into the dream, essentially.
So real, Mel looks at it and notices it's missing fingers.
Oh, yeah. And
So they left it because it was injured.
This motherfucker's got a
and
vendetta
and
against
it's
me.
the one who chopped its fucking fingers off. It came to his house.
Yeah.
He didn't chop its fingers off at his house.
Because it's
The thing
telepathic.
came to his house. That's bananas.
They weren't wearing
I
the
would
chrome
I would
hats.
be like, oh shit, this alien's looking for me
Yeah, it's-
specifically.
Take me.
Yeah, take me,
Um,
take me.
But as he's like looking at this situation, he basically goes into like a trance dream where he sees, you know, what ended up happening that he has not been able to confront since like the day it's happened, which is confronting his wife who was dying in particular point in time. and has the conversation with her, and we see the conversation, and she's basically just giving.
He confronted her as she was dying for cheating on him.
Yeah, and it went into this whole thing about how she's a slut,
He
and
was like, I can't believe you fucking cheated on me. I'm glad you're getting exactly what you deserve.
yeah, stay there for
Alright.
as long as you fucking.
You fucking deserve it. So I'm gonna pull the car. I'm pulling the fucking car back.
Yeah, slowly.
This happened.
But she gives her like dying words to him about the kids. But the last thing that she says is to swing away.
Tell Joaquin Phoenix
To swing away.
To swing away.
Yep. And we cut back to Mel coming like almost out of the dream, and he just says, "Swing away." And Joaquin like doesn't register, and he's like, "Joaquin, swing away." And Joaquin's like, "Oh yeah, my bat, it's right fucking there." Yeah, grabs it. And he's got like some hype behind him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna clench this motherfucker up. I haven't swung this bitch for a while." And it's just like perfect timing. Like the whole like now we're getting into like how faith and fate and religion is like all tying in together. Like even the bat being right next to Joaquin when he first walks in is kind of part of that. The him being able to confront his demons, essentially like something that he's very vulnerable with, like the last second, that all plays into with his son or his brother swinging away and shit like that. I think she said something about,
She wants him to see.
yeah, see,
That's all she said.
yeah.
So Joaquin Phoenix hits the alien in the back. Or the alien, Joaquin Phoenix starts coming towards him. The
When
alien,
they threaten it, because he pulls out this like thing out of his wrist.
so once Joaquin comes near it, the alien goes, all right,
Motherfucker.
just sprays mist into the kid's face.
Yeah.
And then Joaquin hits him in the back and drops the kid.
Yep.
Mel Gibson goes, grabs the kid, and gets him out of the house.
And then Joaquin gets another 2 good bat swings on him. And then like the third one sends the alien to the ground, and the alien bumps into one of the dressers that has Bo's fucking 3 cups of water, and it spills on him, and we see that. Or no. He just bumps into it, right?
Yeah.
And then a cup of water, drops on his shoulder, and we see that. Oh,
It like
Shyamalan was right.
It eats away at his skin.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, Joaquin Phoenix like, here we go, baby. So he hits it a bunch more, and then the last one he hits it, and it hits like an entertainment stand, and a glass of water spills over, and we're seeing it like from the view of the alien's face.
Well, we see the reflection from the TV of like the water fall, what is supposedly like on his face.
Of,
This
of
is
like steam, but it's like the camera was down there, and like we saw the
yeah, we
water
see the
on the
water,
lens
yeah.
like that. Yeah,
Once again, Shyamalan, what the fuck, dude? Just let us see it.
show us. Yeah,
Just let us see
we
it.
shot, and even this scene, like with the shadows, we don't see the alien that well when it's
at
holding
all.
the kid.
Yeah.
Fuck you. And what cost $72 million other than Mel Gibson taking 3 weeks to have a conversation with a door?
And it's like, Shyamalan, I get it. You don't like CGI. Well, dude.
Don't make a fucking alien movie.
Well, and if you're going to use CGI, get the best CGI. This is like the shittiest fucking CGI I've ever seen, dude.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's some of the bullshit I got with this movie.
Yeah,
But
it's fucking 4.
But Joaquin Phoenix beats the fuck out of him. And then Mel, and this is the thing, that when they see the water first drop on him, I'm thinking, why doesn't Mel just put the kid down, grab some water, and just throw it on the motherfucker? Like, why leave your brother in there alone with the bat?
Because he wants to save his kid's life.
Yeah, but
That takes his priority. He's not like, this kid means nothing to me. I'm going to help Joaquin. He's like, Joaquin's a grown man. I want to get this kid out of the house.
But we see it takes a little bit for him to even do anything for his son, because he brings him outside.
Sure, but his thought isn't, this will probably take a little bit for me to do anything. I should leave him and my daughter. He gets the daughter out of there. He gets both the kids out of the house where the alien fight is happening, because of course he would. What scenario is it good to have them in the house during the alien fight?
I'd be like, Bo, go throw some fucking water. That's what you're born
Joaquin Phoenix is a fucking adult. He'll be fine.
for. He'll be fine against some like 6'5" alien fucking reptilian.
More likely he'll be fine than his fucking kids will be.
Yeah.
Let fucking adult handle that shit. Get your kids out of the house.
So he takes him outside, and he's just like basically almost like,
Here's one thing I liked. They checked all of the boxes here at the end. The bat,
yep,
like his baseball skills, swinging, that's the thing.
Yep.
The water being everywhere.
Yep. That's
became
what I'm
a
saying.
factor.
Connecting.
And then Mel Gibson, because I was like, the kid has to die. This is bullshit. They're spraying this poison. Mel Gibson made a very good reason why
Exactly.
it wouldn't.
Yeah.
I was like,
His
all right.
lungs were locked up. He wasn't breathing.
Yeah, he's like, he was having a fucking attack. His lungs were locked up. He didn't breathe any of this in. He's saying that.
So
like,
he's
"You're
like
gonna be fine."
praying it
He's-
almost,
he's like,
too.
come on, he didn't breathe any of this in. His lungs were closed.
So
He didn't
please,
breathe any
God,
of this
don't
in.
fucking do this.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh shit. I was like, yeah, the kid can live now. I was right. I was on board. I was like, kid has to die. Mel Gibson said that. I was like, oh, kid could live.
And then the moment you think, oh, he's actually dead, you just hear Morgan go, Dad?
Dad, what happened?
And Mel's like,
They cry. They show the family out there in the yard. Credits roll.
boom. Some crazy cool score comes over. And you're just like, man, you know, the ending was will let you down, I will say. The ending will let you down. I felt like the movie had very great potential to be like a very good movie. I just felt like the third act, that ending, like all the way up until, you know, like even when the aliens were first starting to attack like the house and they were like boarding up very shitty, and like I like the way that they went through that character arc. But I think a lot of things were just written to be easier to be shot rather than like what would happen. Like we've been spending all this time, we've been pacing out these scenes, but we're going to like very quickly go through this third act. We're going to very quickly go through all these character arcs and like sum up shit that could have been drawn out. I didn't want the movie to be longer, but compared to like the first couple acts and the way they drew things out compared to that, the end was just it.
And that was the issue. The issue was that the whole movie was very slow, very mellow, like the scariest scene in movie history. Like that's insane.
No, for sure.
Like it was a very slow, very mellow movie.
But I felt like it got you in the mood.
for the like. I was invested in it,
Yeah.
but for the ending to just be that,
Yeah, no, I agree.
I was like, you guys just like you had like a kind of slow, boring movie where they're still like, okay, I care enough about these characters to where the ending could draw me in, and I could be like, oh, it was an all right movie. And then you guys just took a big shit on the floor and said, it's over. You tied everything together, but it was shitty. It was quick. You didn't show the alien burn up. We just hear that aliens had gas and killed a bunch of people. And,
Yeah.
and now they're gone. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you in the face for life.
And this is another thing. They even said, too, on the news, like, oh, we have a lot of ground forces deployed, like, in all these different countries. Like, dude, if aliens are dropping down, we got fucking tanks on the ground. What do you think this motherfucker is going to do? Like, yeah, he can spray some gas from his fucking, like, web hand, Spider-Man shit. But, like, dude, some ginormous tank fucking bomb is going to decapitate that motherfucker into 3. You know, if Joaquin Phoenix is sending the motherfucker to the Shadow Realm with a baseball bat, what do you think an AK-47 is going to do?
What do you think?
What do you think?
What the fuck do you think?
But yeah, I mean, I felt like it was good. I felt like it could have been better, but I just felt like they did a good job with kind of getting you in that weird ominous feel, you know, like kind of being like the suspense. I felt like he did good, and then just fell short in the end.
Kind of agree. I
Yeah.
don't grade as highly for the first 2 acts as you do.
Yeah,
Because they weren't good.
I liked him.
They were fine enough to where a third act could make it a good movie.
Yeah,
And then like looking back, I'm like, all right, well, they weren't good first 2 acts. Yeah. That's M. Night Shyamalan Signs, guys.
Oh, I got to say one more thing about it. So, like, in the end, they made it all about, like, faith and religion and him coming back to his religion because his son was saved because of all the faith.
Because he's Mel Gibson.
Yeah, and the water and, like, basically everything had a reason. He was trying to say throughout the film, like, I lost that reason, you know what I'm saying? Like, that everything happens for a reason, that there's fate, that God is in control, that there is a God, this and that. And, like, he contributed so much of his loss to that this isn't real. And then now all of a sudden it just, like, repays him in the end, showing that, no, this is all happened for a reason, essentially. Even your wife dying was, like, almost for a reason for the way, like, everything played out. So I think it's a cool story when, like, even the symbology of signs wasn't just for crop circles. It was also for, like, faith and religion. Even though I'm not, like, crazy religious or anything like that, I appreciate what he was trying to show in the movie.
Yeah, I am crazy religious, guys. Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior. So stick around, and you guys are hear all about all of just the great blessings that Jesus has in store for us.
Amen.
And we're back.
We're back.
Hey, Derek Jeter, fuck you.
Such a bitch.
So that was Signs, a very slow movie with an underwhelming ending. But, Brayden, you know what movie is fast and the ending is just fucking spot on?
David.
Like, they nail it.
David, the Nutty Professor.
The Nutty Professor, guys, frame 1 to the last frame, nonstop action. The ending will shock you. It is the most bananas ending. They do not disappoint for one single frame of that movie.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing.
You know what other movie is? I assume there's pretty nonstop action. I don't know how the ending is. I've never seen it. I imagine there's action. I imagine it's bananas.
I hope. But no, I don't.
Dawn of the Dead 2004, the unrated extended director's cut, as suggested on the 5-6 Kings website by Gunnell Gainey Jr. Is he a real person? Who knows?
Gainey Jr.
So I want you to think about what you just did. This is potentially the first person that you and I don't know personally who suggested a movie went to our website and suggested a movie. Everyone else who's done it has been a family member of mine or someone one of us went to school with or my old roommate. And your instinct is to do buck teeth and to talk in a fucking hillbilly accent to mock the man for what his... That is exact... You did this. You went, Gunnell Gainey Jr. There's no other way to describe it than you did buck teeth and you mocked him in a hillbilly accent for his name.
I was paying respect.
The first potentially for... It could be Brian Pearson with a fake fucking name. But this is potentially the first organic listener of the 5-6 Kings podcast. And immediately you're like, man, fuck this dude. Fuck this dude. This dude's a fucking hick with a fucking hillbilly name. I'm going to put him in his place real quick.
I'm sure he liked the way I
You're a
said it.
real... I bet you Gunnell Gainey. Gunnell Gainey is not going to listen anymore. We just lost a listener.
Oh, man.
But guys, you want to watch Dawn of the Dead 2004 unrated extended director's cut before we do a podcast on Dawn of the Dead 2004 unrated extended director's cut? You should watch Dawn of the Dead 2004 unrated extended director's cut before we do a podcast on Dawn of the Dead 2004 unrated extended director's cut. Here's where you can
That was a mouthful.
watch Dawn of the Dead. I'm not done. Dawn of the Dead 2004 unrated extended director's cut. As far as I can tell, you can watch Dawn of the Dead a lot of places. The Dawn of the Dead 2004 unrated extended director's cut. I'm sure it's available other places. I found it on Amazon Prime for $3.99. Go to Amazon Prime and watch Dawn of the Dead 2004 unrated extended director's cut before we do a podcast next week on Dawn of the Dead 2004 unrated extended director's cut. Woo! So, Brayden.
Yeah. No way I can get that one wrong.
Yeah, no way.
If you got it wrong, fuck you.
You got it wrong. Fuck you. So, Brayden, how would someone go about, because, they're listening right now, and they're like, I fucking love... Signs sounds like a bad movie. I agree with David. David's always right. I agree with him. Sounds bad, but, they broke it down great.
Yeah.
Great episode, as always.
Oh.
Now, as per usual, we've come to expect nothing less from the 5-6 Kings. Great episode. I can't wait to hear them break down Dawn of the Dead 2004 unrated extended director's cut.
Obviously.
But I want them to do my favorite movie.
Yeah.
Braden be damned, Gunnell Gainey Jr. is getting his favorite movie done by the 5-6 Kings. But Braden, what did Gunnell Gainey Jr. do?
Oh.
How would someone go about asking us to do their favorite movie? And there's only one way, and you fucked it up last week. And don't try to be funny and do it wrong and be like, oh, no, it's this. Because there's only one way to do it.
Would I ever do something like that,
All the time.
What?
All the time. You'll misspell 5-6 Kings on purpose thinking it's funny. I'm like, yeah, but someone could be listening to this for the first time, and then they're like, well, I don't know what their Instagram is. They made that very confusing.
Do you think I'm
So,
that
Brayden-
intellectual, David? Exactly.
Intellectual?
Exactly is my point. That's why I said it. I'm actually like leagues ahead of you, bro. I'm just
you
like,
fucking, you got me there.
Yeah, I'm like,
got
come
me
on.
there. Where could they go?
Our website, bro, which is 56kings.com.
You mean FIV?
Yeah.
SIXK. Fucking with it, man. FIVESIXKING.com.
Yep.
Whoa, and what is
You
there?
just-
Is there like a tab up at the top that
Yep.
says submit ideas? They click that, they go in, they type in their name, they type in what movie they want us to do, and they type in who they want to take the lead, who they want going scene by scene to break it down,
Yeah.
and then they just hit submit, and we get an email that says it.
As easy as 1, 2, 3.
I don't think it's that easy, but it's very easy, very user-friendly. You go to 56kings.com.
Yeah,
it's
guys.
your one-stop shop for all things 56 Kings. We got bios.
Bios.
We got episodes. Kind of written reviews, but not really.
Kind of written reviews,
I give
but not
like
really.
I give like a somewhat breakdown when I'm typing it out. I'm like, here's kind of what we talk about in the episode, but listen to the fucking episode.
Just listen to the fucking
Just
episode.
listen to the fucking episode. It shows our scores up there.
Scores.
Side by side scores, and then an overall score. It's like, oh, well, David gave it a 4. Braden gave it a 7.8. So when you bring it out, what is it? What's this movie get?
Between 4 and 7.8. What is that? Fucking 6.3 or 2 or something?
Not far off. 5.9.
5.9.
5.9 is
Dude,
what
that
this
was
movie's getting from us.
Math, bro.
Fucking nailed it.
Come at me like that.
So 56kings.com. One-stop shop. Go
Boom.
there. You got
Yeah.
everything 56 Kings there.
Yeah.
So
But if you do
Braden-
want to see some clips, I'll throw this in this week. You can go to our Instagram. See some clips.
There you go.
We haven't uploaded one in a while,
There you go.
but
We need to do it because House of the Dragon, we talked about this. I didn't want to put up clips of us talking about the episode because I was like, you know what? If you click on an episode that says House of the Dragon, episode 1 reaction, expect spoilers.
yeah.
If you go to Instagram, you shouldn't expect spoilers for
That's a good
House of the
point.
Dragon. I was like, I don't want to put videos of us saying shit because I would be pissed if I went on Instagram and Braden had a video where he was like, oh, I can't believe Rhaenyra fucked the Kingsguard guy. And I'd be like, fuck, man, I didn't watch the episode yet.
God damn
I
it.
didn't know Braden was just posting shit about House of the Dragon. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
So that's why we didn't do that. We're gonna get back to that.
Yeah.
though. We're back on track.
For sure.
So Braden, they know where to go for 56 Kings Things. You go to the website. You go to the Instagram.
Yeah.
They know what to do. You listen. You watch. You submit ideas for us to do your favorite movie.
Oh, yeah.
But Braden, really, they can go to the website whenever and
Yeah.
submit ideas whenever. But when do they listen? When do they watch?
They listen and they watch every motherfucking Monday. Get ready to consume every motherfucking Monday.
On every motherfucking Monday?
Every motherfucking Monday.
Martin Luther King Day.
Ah, dude. Doing it.
Labor Day.
Fuck Labor. No, I'm just kidding.
Memorial Day.
Memorial
I mean,
Day,
you
baby.
could say fuck Labor Day.
I mean,
We
who doesn't like some good labor?
We skipped the holiday that you weren't allowed to say it for,
Yeah.
and then you were absolutely allowed to say it for Labor Day.
It's like the one holiday I could.
Yeah, you Labor Day, all bets are off, guys. But guys, you heard it here first. Every motherfucking Monday, new episode of the 5-6 Kings. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all next week. I love you all very much.
Peace out.
Except for Derek Jeter. Fuck you!
Bitch, I'm from Palm Beach, California.